on our FM frequencies this afternoon. But let's go back to Stoke, to the Bet365 stadium where Sunderland are the visitors. Good afternoon, Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. It's like summer here. It's unbelievable, it's remarkable. I'm overdressed. I have too much tweed on today.
Perish on our FM. There's a phrase you never thought you'd ever say.
I know. I was chatting to one of the locals here. So, the former Stoke City commentator.
The visitors, good afternoon, Nick Barnes.
Suggesting maybe this is the way. It's like summer here. It's unbelievable. It's remarkable. I'm overdressed. I have too much tweed on today.
There's a phrase you never thought you'd
on the bench. I know. I was chatting to the locals here. Roostin, the former Stoke City commentator, but none of them in that starting 11. Ekwa back in, of course, for Dan Neil, and Pritchard back in. Whether it's partly to do with the tactics that Alex Neil's likely to adopt this afternoon, he's gone back to a 4-3-3, but his 5 changes means he's bringing in the likes of the much discussed as well last night, Kijana Hoover, Dave, the right back, suggesting maybe this is good afternoon. It's like summer here. Michael Rose, unbelievable. It's remarkable. I'm overdressed. I have too much tweed on today. Two midfielders playing.
Crazy, never thought
on the bench. I know. International forward Stoke City commentator. Andre Vidigal, the Portuguese striker, who's back in, of course, 5 goals this season. Back in. So it's a much changed partly to do with team and a much stronger team. Neil's likely to. It's not very well. I'm not very well. Dave, the right suggesting maybe this is good afternoon.
Not too much then in the in this next couple of minutes, but you start.
So you can hear me okay now?
In the team, or does it make sense under the circumstance?
No, not at all. I'm a bit surprised, but you got to give credit to Davey because he came on last night and he was speaking about the change without a striker, but you know. Questions are going to be asked, you know, we've got
too much then
3 or 4 strikers at the football club,
minutes,
yet you can't get into the starting line.
So you can hear me okay now?
No, not at all. I'm a bit surprised.
Are we reading too much into it, or is it a sign that actually maybe
credit to Davey because he came on last night and he was speaking about his change without a striker, but get carried away. You know, questions are going to be asked, you know, we've got against Middlesbrough 3 or 4 strikers down to 10 men. We got beat 4-0. But that doesn't mean you press the panic button. You know, before the Middlesbrough game, we're doing well.
Number 9. Yes. So I guess it takes, you know, a little while to adjust and try and get these players embedded.
Yes, I know you've got plenty to come between now and 3 o'clock, so I will leave you for a couple of minutes' time. Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, thank you for the moment. A reminder again that Sunderland game at Stoke this afternoon will be
test, so you can hear me okay?
And for you for channel 719. Thank you for the moment. A reminder again that about 5 minutes' time. Early scores today in the Premier League. It's the Merseyside derby. Everton away at Liverpool went a man down. Early scores today in the Premier League. It's the Merseyside derby. Everton scores away at Liverpool. When the man down in the high boat and an early in the championship, Preston won, Millwall won. That was in the championship, well, and in the Women's Super League, a Martha Thomas hat-trick has put Spurs 4-1 up away at Aston Villa. So they look as though they are cruising towards 3 points as well. Non-league this afternoon then, there should have been a full fixture of FA Vase games. Most of them have gone the distance. So too is Gateshead's National League game away at Chesterfield. But in National League North, not only are South Shields at home to Kings Lynn this afternoon, but Blythe Spartans are at home to the league leaders Tamworth, and our non-league reporter Paul Dixon is going to be watching. Paul, Blythe have lost just 1 home match all season. They might fancy the chances here, you know.
I think they will. Good afternoon, Colin. Colin, can I just say, before we get into it there, that the sun's shining, the pitch is absolutely magnificent. I mean, for 48 hours we've had a downpour, and it's absolutely bone dry. The groundsman's done a marvellous job, and it's really inviting for good football. But yes, you know, 6 games at home, and they've just lost 1. And lying 7th in the league, and lying really handy.
Check.
More than happy at the minute, Colin.
Yes, and so he should be. Yeah, credit to Peter. I don't actually know Peter's surname, but Peter is the groundsman at Blythe. So well done to him this afternoon. He has. And in the same division, South Shields at home to Kings Lynn, and I guess every home match, South Shields have a big advantage because of the crowd they can get behind them, and obviously it's quite a long journey up for Kings Lynn as well. But they're going very, very well towards the top of the table, South Shields.
Well, they are, and plus I think on the terraces where there'll probably be nearly a full house this afternoon, they'll be talking about what's happened this week with the owner, Mr. Thompson, putting the club up for sale. So there'll be a lot of interesting talk on the terraces and a lot of interesting football. Can I just come back to Blythe a second here, Colin? That John Shaw, who played last week, the assistant manager, who's 39, has kept his place today up front with Cedric Main. So Graham Fenton's gone for exactly the same team that beat Bishop Stortford last week. So John, who scored last week, a terrific player in his younger days, but he's still doing it here at 39. Wish him all the best this afternoon, Colin.
We do, because that's a bit of a throwback, isn't it? Because he's played as striker and centre-half throughout his career, but he sort of, I mean, I don't want to do him a disservice, but as he got older, he played more at centre-half than he did up front. But he's now doing a job up there again.
I said he had to flush the
well, he did, and someone's just pointing out he could have scored 4 last week. So he's getting in the positions. So one might be good enough today to play against Tamworth. Can I just say, Tamworth, a long way. I thought they would have stayed overnight, but they've travelled up this morning. So good luck to them.
Yes, to them. Well, more good luck to Blythe than to them, but I take your point. Paul,
Correct.
Thank you very much for the moment. We will check in with Paul again at Croft Park at half-time and at full-time. Also in non-league this afternoon, Morpeth against Macclesfield in the Northern Premier League Premier Division goes ahead. So too does Dunstan's game at Stockton in the East Division, but Hebburn at home to North Ferriby, Ashington away at Sheffield, and Consett at home to Cleethorpes, all falling victim to the weather. Somehow Berwick Rangers game at Albion Rovers is still going ahead in the Scottish Lowland League. Goodness knows what conditions are going to be like up there. In the Women's Championship, 2 games tomorrow, both at midday. Durham against Blackburn, and Sunderland are way down on the south coast to play at the Dripping Pan, which is what Lewis's stadium is called. In the basketball, Newcastle Eagles won. They beat Leicester Riders by 5 points last night. They were 16-2 down very early on. That's the opposite of the way previous matches have gone. They were the ones producing a comeback this time. 31 points for Ricky McGill, 21 for Jordan Johnson as well. They're away at Bristol Flyers tonight. And then tomorrow the WBBL gets underway with Newcastle Eagles away at Manchester Giants at 4 o'clock and Durham Palatinates away at Caledonia Gladiators at 5. Also last night, Newcastle Falcons nearly mounted a terrific comeback at home to Gloucester in the Premiership. They were 15-0 down at half-time, and then a couple of second-half tries, a penalty try and an absolute belter from Adam Radwan. It got them within 4 points, but they could not get any closer. That was played in horrible conditions. So Falcons losing 18-14 at home last night. We'll hear from their head coach Alex Codling at half-time this afternoon. A couple more things. In the ice hockey tomorrow, Whitley Warriors at home to Deeside Dragons at 5 o'clock at Hillheads. And in snooker's Northern Ireland Open, John Astley from Gateshead absolutely thumped, there's no other way of putting it, in the first qualifying round yesterday by Malaysia's Rory Thor. He lost by 4 frames to nil. He only managed 60 odd points across the 4 frames as well. And just briefly at the Cricket World Cup, England facing South Africa, they will have to chase a World Cup record of 400 if they are going to win that one. South Africa making 399 for 7, including a Heinrich Klaassen century and 3 more half centuries. But here on BBC Radio Newcastle, it is all about the football this afternoon. So if you want to listen to Newcastle United versus Crystal Palace in the company of Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson, then you need to be listening on our FM frequencies. But if you want to be listening to Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett's commentary of Sunderland's game at Stoke, that one is on DAB Digital Radio and Freeview Channel 719. Now is the time to take your pick.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Been asking you when you've been locked out of somewhere. Andy from Sunderland's on the phone.
We've had a sales meeting, a couple of drinks were had. I went to bed and my bedtime attire at that time was just a t-shirt. At some point I managed to leave my bedroom, sleepwalking, and was literally just about to walk out of the hotel front door into the middle of Manchester. And I woke up just as my colleagues were returning to the hotel. So I'll just say it was December, it was very cold. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Back Monday morning
from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport Northeast.
The sound of.
The sound of Sunderland.
As Ahmad plays it back to O'Nien. Oh! Into the penalty area. Pritchard back to Cirkin. Oh, what a goal! Again! Dennis Cirkin, what a goal! Little tap from Roberts through to Ahmad who shoots. Oh!
Great sport kicks off here.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And a very good afternoon again from Stoke, where the sun is shining. There are lots of fluffy clouds hanging over Stoke. I'm not sure the correct meteorological term for them. Cumulus, are they cumulus? I'm not sure. Anyway, there are a lot of them, and they're very white and fluffy, although a number of them I'm not very good at this. But though some of them look a little bit grey, as though they're threatening rain. Anyway, compared to the weather when we left the northeast this morning, this is positively Jamaican. And
it is indeed.
And it's just a shame that you're feeling a little bit under the weather and can't really enjoy it. Well wrapped up.
But you'll look after me.
I am. I'm trying to.
You know.
Stay wrapped up. The team news this afternoon. No number 9 for Sunderland. Patterson in goal. Hume, O'Nien, Ballard and Huggins the back four. Ekwa comes in for the suspended Dan Neil. Jobe, Roberts, Pritchard, Clark and Barr. The bench is Bishop, Rigg, Aushish, Hamir, Burstow, Triantis, Sealt, Rusin and Dack. Alex Neil makes 5 changes for Stoke City. Mark Travers, who's on loan from Bournemouth, in goal. Then Kijana Hoover, who's on loan from Wolves at right back. Luke McNally on loan from Burnley. Michael Rose, Ender Stevens, they just both come back in from injury. Then the Dutchman Wouter Berger, Ben Pearson and Daniel Johnson across the middle and across the front, 3 at the front. Mehdi Leris, the Algerian. Then in comes Ryan May, the Moroccan international, and Andre Vidigal, a Portuguese forward who's got 5 goals this season, 4 of them in the Championship. Lyndon Gooch is on the bench this afternoon. He's returning from a muscle injury. I must thank everybody who's wished me all the best for my 1000th commentary.
Is it?
This afternoon.
I didn't know.
Did you not know?
No.
Well, do you want me to tell you all about it? Probably haven't got enough time, but
enough time.
You've been with me for the 1000, so you know all about it. But thank you, everybody. Very, very kind wishes. Remarkable. And we've made it. We're here. We are here for it. So I will make 1,000. So there you go.
Achievement, that Barnesy.
Now, I will have commentated on 1,000 Sunderland matches by the end of this afternoon. Sunderland historian Rob Mason will have watched, I think, roughly 4,580 Sunderland matches. 82. Rob, good afternoon. I don't know if you've kept a tally. Do you keep a tally?
Good afternoon. I do keep a tally, but I don't know what it is. I have to check, but it's a lot. But first of all, yeah, let me add my comments to the fact that I think it's a fantastic achievement for Barnes and Bennett to have done 1,000 games, and hopefully it'll be a good result to mark the occasion this afternoon, Nick.
Excellent, thank you, Rob. We're rattling on. I've got lots to put in before 3, but what I did want to ask you about, and it actually centres on Gary Bennett, sitting to my right here, the Hall of Fame. And
yes,
Benno marches into it.
Indeed, well, quite rightly so. We do have our 3rd Hall of Fame dinner coming up at Sunderland on Friday, the 10th of November. 9 of the club's all-time greats will be inducted, and this includes Gary, who, you know, for all of his many achievements that he's had and received, particularly in recent years, I always personally think the greatest of them is the fact that out of the, you know, well over 1,100 players who've made a competitive appearance for Sunderland, Gary is 5th in the all-time appearance list, and that takes some doing. So yeah, Gary is going to be inducted, as is another 2 members in the all-time top 10, namely Michael Gray, who, like Gary, will be at the event, and Stan Anderson, who will be, you know, whose award will be received by his widow Sue. So yeah, Friday the 10th of November at the Stadium of Light. It'll be a fantastic evening, and you know, tickets are available through the club at hospitality@safc.com.
How many names currently in the Hall of Fame? Because I know it's not been established that long.
No, we've got 29 people in the Hall of Fame as things stand, and we're going to add another 9 coming up on the 10th of November, which is the night before the home game with Birmingham City.
Of course, as a reminder, everybody's a lunchtime kickoff, which
Indeed.
All the home games these days seem to be 12:30 kickoffs these days.
It's a regular thing, but yeah, I'm sure we're going to give the staff at Sunderland quite a job, because the Hall of Fame evening won't finish till a little bit after midnight, and then the staff will be getting the Montgomery suite where it's held all sorted out, ready for people coming in early for what will be an early kick-off against Birmingham. But it does also mean that people like Johnny Crossan, who was the top scorer in the club's first ever promotion team from 60 years ago this season, Johnny has been inducted. He's flying across from Belfast, and it helps people like that to be able to come to the match before they make their way home. So that'll be something for us all to look forward to.
Great, Rob, thank you very much. I'm rushing on, lots to squeeze in, but thank you ever so much for joining us this afternoon. Rob Mason, Sunderland club historian. I must ask him to tally how many games he's watched actually with Sunderland when we speak to him next weekend against Norwich.
Have a guess.
How many years has he been watching? Over 50 years, isn't it? And so that's double, treble what we've done in 20 years. So you must be looking at least 3,500, 4,000 games, wouldn't you? Which is quite remarkable. We'll be hearing from Sir Bob Murray, and we'll be hearing from Mel Ray, the Sunderland women's head coach. First, though, this afternoon, let's hear from the Sunderland men's head coach, Tony Mowbray.
I know you talked about binning the Stoke game last season. Do you think that day, in the end, the sort of circus surrounding Alex Neil and the whole occasion, the players effectively played the occasion and not the game, that sort of classic cliche?
Well, listen, ultimately it felt like a one-off in the context of the season, because ultimately we finished 6th in the league, we got 69 points, we won enough games to finish in the playoff places, so it's irrelevant. It's a part of a learning curve for young footballers, I think, and if Middlesbrough's part of a learning curve of how to do something different, playing against it with a man down, that's okay, as long as we do learn, and as we move forward we don't fall down the same holes. I think after Stoke last year we ultimately went on a decent run, and so it was telling me that the players learn, the players have got something in their stomach, that they don't like the feeling of heavy defeat, and they react and they bounce back, and that's, you know, I feel as if that's the group we've got really. We've got a really talented but hungry young group of players who all want to play at the top, and we have to keep them going, but give them the license to go and play and express their talent, and that's what we try to do. And some weeks you get, doesn't go your way, you know, you like taking a setback, taking a knock. You have to take it on the chin, but you have to brush yourself down. You have to get on with the next one, knowing that we're still a good team. We will beat football teams as we go along, but we have to play the way we want to play. We have to be aggressive. We have to play on the front foot. We have to take the game to the opposition, and that's what we'll try and do for the rest of the season. And hopefully the talent we possess, it can come to the fore, and we find a way to win matches.
An interesting double header coming up with Stoke. Alex Neil's made a lot of changes in the summer. I suppose that's one reason why the team's taking time to gel and find its feet, but I think there's a lot of injuries as well. There's a lot of players in his team against Leicester last time out, midfielders playing in the back four, youngster up front, so that it's a team very much in transition at the minute.
Right, listen, I have watched them. I don't profess to be an expert on Stoke City. It's I really try to work on our team. I try to give them confidence and belief to play and how we want to play. And yeah, Stoke, I'm sure I know they're a well-funded football team, and their expectations will be high. I'm pretty sure maybe all the changes, as you say, they haven't been able to gel yet. But I do feel a lot of teams in this league, like Middlesbrough, you know, I told you, everybody was mourning at me. I live in Teesside, mourning they never won a game in 7, and now they've won 4 on the bounce. And I think most of the big sides in this league can do that. You know, Southampton are starting to hit a bit of a run. I think West Brom, I think Norwich, they'll all start to come, and the bigger teams will start congregating in the top half of the table and be challenging each other for the higher positions, because that's what happens. Good footballers win your football matches when they're driven and they're motivated and they're up for it, and I feel as if we have to be in that mix because we've got a lot of really talented young players.
And one player I guess you won't have to do any research on if he plays, if he's fit, Lyndon Gooch. That's one less thing to worry about in one sense.
Well, listen, Lyndon's you know, he's got a wonderful personality. He was very driven. He wanted to play, he wanted to win every game, he wanted to win every five-a-side, to be honest, and he was very involved, wrapped up in every training session, never mind every game. So, you know, he's a very, very valuable footballer. You know, the decision was made, himself, the club, that he was going to move on, and he's gone to an ex-manager and who know all about him, and yeah, listen, he's an asset to their football club, I think. You know, and for him, he's playing most weeks. Since he's gone there and he's been fit, he's played. But and that's fine. I think I like Gucci. Everybody at this club likes Gucci, and we wish him well after the weekend.
Total Sport North East. Whenever Newcastle and Sunderland play at the same time, you'll find our black and white commentary on FM and our red and white commentary on DAB and Freeview, channel 719.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Tony Mowbray then, looking ahead to this afternoon's game. Lyndon Gooch on the bench this afternoon. We're going to hear from Sir Bob Murray shortly. I caught up with him the other week. His autobiography has just been published. All funds going to the Foundation of Light. First though, Sunderland women, they've got a long journey to Lewis this weekend. Last weekend they beat Reading at Eppleton 3-1. I've been talking to the Sunderland women head coach Mel Ray.
Mel, can I ask about Kira firstly? I mean, she was obviously there on Sunday around the players and involved, and how difficult do you think it will be for her psychologically in the long run?
I think it's been difficult for her. It's been difficult for a long period of time because she's not really played for almost a year and a half properly. So I think she's been through. I would hope that she's been through the roughest patch, and now it's kind of, she was worried about the announcement, worried about, you know, people keep asking her why she wasn't playing because she didn't really know the answers, and ultimately when that decision was made, it took her a while to kind of come round to it, as it would any footballer who's then told that they can't play football anymore. So we've had a lot of time with Kira before it was announced to make sure it was the right time to do it, and you know, once everyone was ready, then you know, we made that announcement. But like I just said before, like it was heartbreaking for me, for her, for everyone involved in the team. It's the first time I've seen anyone who's had to really medically retire under my helm, sort of thing. And you know, for someone like Kira, who's red and white through and through, who would literally run through a brick wall, and I know people say that, but she literally was willing to tape her ankle up and try and run and play for the badge, and ultimately that's not the right thing for anyone to do, because she would have suffered later on in life. She's got a child to look after as well, and we certainly didn't want any further injury, you know, to hamper her life away from football as well. So I was devastated for her, but you know, hopefully we can still get her in and around the team, because the stories that she tells about the football club from the beginning are still really important, and the new players have to understand what it means to represent this football club, and Kira kind of epitomises that.
Important then that she is under contract, so she can be here, she can be in and amongst it and be part of it.
Yeah, she's really good friends with Courtney Locke, who runs the PGA. Like, they've been best friends since they were like in the womb, really. She's really keen to get in and around Courtney and start learning from Courtney, from, you know, to kind of educate the younger players at the football club how to come through and be a professional footballer as well. So, you know, we're there to support her, and if she wants to be involved in any kind of capacity, then I'm sure we can make something happen for her.
Great. The Reading game of two halves. I mean, lucky, or good that you scored just before half-time, just to relieve a bit of that Reading pressure. What did you say at half-time? Because you came out transformed in the second half.
I didn't have to say too much, because when I got in there, they were all problem-solving straight away, and what I would like them to do is problem-solve during the game, so it didn't have to have them 45 minutes. I was disappointed. I was disappointed that we didn't get on the ball and make things happen like we'd spoke about. And I think that's all it took, really. And they knew that they had underperformed and that they were in 1-0 and we hadn't even got out of second gear. So the challenge was to go out and be better in the second half and put the game to bed almost. And, you know, that's what we did, 3-0 up, and then disappointed with the goal that we conceded. And on reflection, when we've watched it back as a squad, I think from the throw-in, everyone was like, I could have done better there. Yeah, I could have done better there. And it was a domino effect, because someone hadn't done it properly. It was then someone else, and then it's ended up in the back of the net. And we don't want to concede goals like that, because they're certainly avoidable. I
mean, Claudia will be disappointed, won't, because I think she's going into the game, and I think she might be joint now. She's conceded the fewest goals in every level of football, apart from the Women's Super League, right. And they've only played 2 games or something. So, so that for her personally, she'll have been disappointed. Yeah, I think she was, and you know, ultimately, you know, Liz is our first defender from the front. It's not just about Claudia and the goal. The back four want a clean sheet, and you know, ultimately, we have to defend as a team, as a collective, to get a clean sheet. Her knee was heavily strapped as well. Is that? I mean, she went down at one point, and you start to think, well, I hope she's all right, but she played on. I mean, presumably there isn't an issue, or she wouldn't have been playing. Yeah, she's just had a little bit of an issue over the last couple of weeks. She had it last season as well. It's nothing major. It's certainly nothing, you know, going to stop her playing football. You spoke last week about the travel to Birmingham, to Sheffield, and you said after the game at the weekend you thought they were a bit leggy. Do you think that was in part because of you doing all that travel, and now of course you've got to go to Lewis on the weekend? Is probably is that your longest journey of the season? It's not far off it. Yeah, I don't think we've got a problem going. It's when you've got to come back and then you've got to go again into another fixture. And luckily enough, we now go into the international break after Sunday. So you know, the motivation's there. They want to put on a better performance. We want to win the game. We want to go into the international break still in a position where we're top, or pretty much top of the league, so we can reset again and then, you know, go into another busy month. You talked about Reading being a banana skin. This is the banana skin, isn't it? A team that's struggling at the bottom. I think they all are. You know, when you're undefeated, you know, like I said, you're there to be shot at, and teams want to beat you. But yeah, they obviously haven't started very well. On paper, yes, we should go and win the game, but ultimately we have to do our roles on the pitch and have their moments of quality like we showed on Sunday to win the game.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Mel Ray talking at the start of that interview about Kira Ramshaw, who sadly has had to retire from playing football for Sunderland women. 3 o'clock kick-off, of course. Before then, though, we're going to hear from Sir Bob Murray. Needs no introduction. He's just published his autobiography, and I was lucky enough to catch up with him the other week to talk through his life, his time at Sunderland, and let's enjoy now 20 minutes in the company of Sir Bob Murray.
Someone's had a word in my ear, said that you've had ham and peas pudding, stotty, for lunch.
That's right, yeah.
And you're having fish and chips from Downey's after the do tonight, which I just think is quite a nice... I said, you can take the man out of Sunderland, but you can't take Sunderland out of the man.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's you, isn't it, in a nutshell?
Well, when I come here, I get spoilt, you know, and they get me ham and peas pudding sandwiches, and that's something to really look forward to. And then last week we took a big doner out to South Shields and we had fish and chips as well.
Wonderful. So what made you? How did it come about that you got involved with the football club? What was it? Why?
Well, obviously my dad was born in Sunderland. He went down the pit in Sunderland when he was 14, and he didn't like it, and he went above the ground at concert. But he's still from Sunderland. My mum's from Sunderland, so I've got 100% Sunderland blood. So when I was old enough, he brought me to the game, and that was it. Smashed to see all those faces in the ground, you know, So smitten, brought up right.
And that made you, when the opportunity arose, you wanted obviously to become involved, you wanted to...
Well, but I had to move away and I kept the North East to further my career to Yorkshire, but every time we'd come back to see my mum, coincidentally Sunderland would be at home. So obviously it's in my blood, and you know, I love the club and I love the people. So when I became quite successful in business in the 80s, I wrote to the previous chairman, Sir Tom Cowie, and offered my services to him. And I came and met him, and then I got invited, and then I got asked to go on the board, and then Tom had enough, and he went, and I got the club. I worked with a guy in Yorkshire, and I didn't know how much was him and how much was me, and this gave me an opportunity to see how much was me. So I wanted to do something on my own, but obviously you have to really want to do something to be a chairman of a fantastic club like this.
I mean, it's interesting, I was chatting to Malcolm Bramley the other day about his time at Sunderland and Cloughie and all those stories.
Yeah.
I mean, they were different, it was a different era, it was a different generation.
But I mean, different.
I guess in many ways you miss it because it was obviously something...
Not the later days, because, I mean, we had people here that only came for the money. Floor, South American people, they just came for the money. It was awful. But in my time, when we came here, me and my wife would go to engagement parties, buy christening presents. We'd go to Marco Gabardini's wedding. We did all these sort of things that you would do. We knew the parents, we knew everything. It was a proper football club. It was a bad time for British football, but we knew the people, that it was a club. And that gradually permeated through, and obviously having the likes of Niall Quinn and Gavin Phillips and Stephen Swartz, I mean, quality people. But towards the end, when money got money, even more so, I mean, I can't identify with football nowadays, Nick. I mean, does a guy need 400 grand a week when there's so many other people could benefit around, like this foundation or something like that? 400 grand a week. But what I do like about now, Nick, I do like our players and the management of the club and the way the club's run. It reminds me of the good days, and I really like the players that are here. I like the characters, the personality, the work ethic, the behaviours. I identify with Sunderland players. I like this team. I really look forward to seeing them.
I mean, they're a team that seems to go almost a throwback to when you were here when Peter Reid first arrived. They lived locally, they invested in the club in the town. And that's something that was lost over the last 15, 20 years?
It had 12 years of total neglect. It was unloved, totally unloved. And now, these lads want to be here. They put a shift in. We've got a North East manager. He lives in the North East. He's got a work ethic. I just like the whole thing.
Mm. And Peter Reid, how did that come about? What made you bring Peter and Bobby? Because that was obviously, that turned out to be a masterstroke.
It was, but Peter had been very acrimonious at Man City with Peter Swales. He'd been quite combative. Peter had been out the game for a while, but the person identified with the North East. He's a working class lad, and he's gritty, and Bobby's wonderful. He's a bit of a statesman, and so they were the perfect thing at the time. And Peter kept us up. He took all the honour for that, and amazing signings. You can name one after another. Inspiration.
I mean, you must feel proud because now people talk in terms of this current team. And look back to Peter Reid's team, and then people are saying, well, which was the better team? And nobody can really make that decision. There's two different generations, aren't they? But it's taken that long for Sunderland to find the buzz again.
Yeah. I mean, the recruitment here is very good.
It's Nick Barnes' 1,000 commentary today.
And the induction of them, it's very, very good. It's impressive. And I'm sure that's going to get us a long way in the future.
Where did it go wrong? I mean, you mentioned money. I mean, and I don't know if this is anecdotal, apocryphal, but it was always said that when you sacked Peter Reid and you wanted to replace him, you said to Howard Wilkinson, who should I appoint? And he said, me. And you did. It's a nice story, but Is it true? Is that what happened?
No, that wasn't it. Peter needed to go. He wanted to go. At the end, I would have loved him to stay, but obviously his record at the end was as bad as it was at the beginning. We signed players that didn't want to be here, and there was a lot of bad recruitment, one after another. Spent tens of millions of pounds. But when I say I'd do it all again, I wouldn't appoint Howard Wilkinson. I think that it was done with the best intention. Here we are, a guy who is supposed to be ultra-professional, technical director of the SHA for England, caretaker manager of England, and won the league with Leeds United. And it wasn't like it was on a tin. From the minute he walked in, he brought Steve Cotterill with him, who's a really nice lad, and he's made a living in the game. And it was just absolutely, totally wrong. The whole thing was wrong. But I did it with the best of intention, but I certainly wouldn't do that again.
I mean, hindsight's a wonderful art. And I mean, I look back at that time and you were vilified, I mean, really, weren't you? I mean, people turned on you.
Yeah.
I wonder how you look back on it now, because I think, again, time's a great healer, and people reflect on what you'd achieved when you were here in the stadium and the foundation. Do you look back on that time, and does it still hurt?
Oh, no, it's a game. I got it wrong, and I paid the price for it. They love the club, and I was giving them something they didn't want.
Oh, Sunderland's my favourite strip.
At the end of the day, because the board went with me. I don't think the board fully agreed with what I was doing, but the support.
Sunderland's in my favourite strip, the fluorescent yellow. I want the shorts and the pants, but that light's my favourite colour.
I don't hold grudges with anybody.
And the other big thing you did is the stadium. I mean, that must have been a difficult decision to reach, because people were so invested in Roker Park, and probably still are.
Yeah. I mean, it was. When I took over the club, I didn't think I'd have to find a new stadium. That was the last thing I ever thought.
Oh, get in! And, penalty for Sunderland. We've got a penalty.
Lord Taylor and who's a Newcastle guy, great report, and the world tragedies and all these sort of thing. Roker Park was down to 23,000, and when we're in the Premier League as it is now, we didn't sell out for 19 games out of 21. I think we sold out against Man United and Newcastle, so we couldn't fill 23,000, and to make it all seat, it would be 14,000. It would cost a fortune. So I just did. I don't know how I achieved it, but we built in 1993. Our turnover was 4 million, and we lost £1 million. Yet we managed to fund the Stadium Light out of that business, which was, well,
it's been at that for quite a while. Yeah, there's obviously a bad feeling around Stoke at the minute.
Stadium. We had the foresight to put the infrastructure in for concerts with the 2 tunnels and things like that. It's a uniform stadium. I mean, Sunderland will always get.
Are you confident today then, or do you think it's a potential banana skin?
It's just something. I don't know why, Nick. I'm very determined. If I see something and I know it's right, I go for it. I don't know why it is. I'm quite quiet. I'm not super bright.
Oh, Dan Ballard is playing.
I really wanted to do the stadium as I did the academy.
Dan Ballard is playing. I thought he was injured.
How did you feel leaving Roker Park? Have you got any of it at home? Did you keep anything?
I've got a lovely piece of it. I've got a third.
Is that concerning, do you think?
On my lawn, and it's just the way it was. I paid for it, and it's there today. It's done it. Of course, I mean, my dad took me to Roker Park in the mid-50s to see Wolves, and he didn't think I'd be the guy that knocked it down, though.
I wonder what he'd have thought. Could have held it against you for that.
Yeah, no, but we've all got fond memories, of it. But that's gone now. I mean, a lot of the players, the 73 team, have all adopted the Stadium of Light. They weren't angry about it or whatever. It was
ahead of its time, wasn't it? In so many ways. And when we look now at the stadiums being built, but the stadium was one of the first, if you like, that was built.
Yeah. And we've been working hard to preserve the land around it as well over the last 10 years, when the club's been neglected.
Hello, Dan Swales. Who's our strikers today? We've got Pritchard and Abdullah Bar up front
main reception
as our strikers.
Everyone always said it was the wrong way round. The main reception should have been the others. But actually now with all the redevelopment on the other side of the river, finally, it is going to be the focal point, isn't it? With all the old bauxite.
There's it's in the right place. It was nice to put it in the city, to be truthful. I think it's great to be at the centrepiece of the city and every day people look at it. It's not on the outskirts and green fields and things like that. It's right in the city centre, which is fantastic. And we've got the new.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Fire Stick. But are you streaming the match, Anth?
From that it takes you to St George's Park and Wembley. Was that as a direct result of what you did with the Stadium of Light?
Yes, darling.
Yeah, well, Tony Good girl.
Was
very worried.
I'm on the Fire Stick, just using the Championship. There's a Stoke City doing the squats. There's player number 23 doing like warm-up exercises.
And he was worried it wouldn't be ready. Obviously FA people were running Wembley at the time. And I was jettisoned in because the Stadium of Light had been delivered on time.
Yes, darling.
And I had that experience, but also I had the knowledge of football and the football contacts. So in my time on the board there, we finished the design of the stadium. We got a construction company, and we also fully funded it. So it was only physically to build then. I disagreed about putting the roof on. I thought that was stupid because it's such a cost and a waste of money, really. But I didn't get my way on that. But and so that was Wembley built. But St George's Park was totally different. I was out of here by then. And I got a call, and that took 6 years to do as project director.
Keith Atkinson's, it's been an awful.
Proud of that, though.
It'll be an awful game, he reckons. One of me thinking.
Changes football. There's 26 teams there. I think we're starting to see it already, the benefit of it. And I think English football's got a great future, but I think St George's Park is a real.
So you're getting Madam a drink?
What makes you proudest, the foundation or St George's Park, Wembley Stadium?
Well,
or is it too
unquantifiable? I can't really call that, Nick. I think I've always liked building things, you see. I'm an accountant by profession, but I've always liked building things, the tangible and things like that. And they tell me this foundation building's unique. I mean, it's 6-storey. It's quite awesome, isn't it? When you walk into it, it gives you the wow factor. Yeah?
Yeah, unquestionably. At night, especially when it's lit up.
Yeah, but it's wow, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it's only white of its type in Europe, and it just so happens to be in Sunderland. So I think it's a hospital, because everybody that comes in here goes out better. Do you know? I feel like...
Yeah, I'm still here.
It's mainly full of good news. So it's a really special place.
You talk about places, but people as well, and you've mentioned a few already. But there was one, I think probably, I don't know how painful it is, but Ellis Shaw, it just didn't get on.
Well,
with
it doesn't take 2 seconds just to hit the mute button. So let's just hope I'm hitting the mute button. I've got a blister on my finger doing it.
Being chairman of a club this big and this wonderful, it's very, very demanding.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, sometimes he didn't
but
even
darling,
talk to the manager or whatever.
Have you finished, good girl?
Next, who owns your football club is very important. It's really, really important. You see, at Leeds United, they struggled.
There's nothing plugged in.
They had Ribsdale, and then they had Ken Bates, and then they had the only Arab without money, and they had an Italian gentleman there. And you wonder why Leeds were out the Premiership for 20 years or something, It's very important who owns your football club nowadays. It's not just the local businessmen who put a few bob in and put the best efforts forward,
I mean, as much as people would love to see that, I think people would like to see that local connection.
Yeah, well, Middlesbrough are very fortunate.
Yeah, but I mean, Kirill, does seem to understand.
Oh, he gets it.
I think he has said as well he's a custodian. It's not his.
He gets it fully. A very nice young man with a lovely family. His brother's excellent. And we've really taken to him, and that's why I'm putting all this effort in to hopefully support him and give him a chance, because it's a really hard job the lad's got. It's a really big job, but he comes from a football family. He gets it. He's got structure, and it's very, very professional. And I think it's in really good, safe hands.
Are you like everybody else, enjoying coming back to games now?
Yeah, I am. It's the first time, obviously, ever since we've had this last decade, but I mean, I can recognise these players, you know, I can identify with them. I think they're really nice lads, you know, and I think the way the work ethic and everything, I really like this team.
And when you look back, are there moments, are there times or people that you, I guess, keep coming back to as that were really special moments or special people?
Yeah, you know, like Dennis Smith did a really good job here. I thought his appointment was as good as Wilkinson's wasn't. It was spot on. You know, that was a very enjoyable 5 years in the main. You know, happy times with a basic football club, but you know, to think we had the Golden Boot of Europe playing for Sunderland, and we kept him here. He wanted to be here, and we kept him here, despite having John Smith as his agent, you know, which is a London agent, which, you know, we used to be going to play Spurs away, and we'd pick the paper up and says Philip signs to Spurs next week. Do you know? The fact is that Kevin did that, and Niall, you know, had Niall 9 years. You know, when we lost the playoff, I said nobody's leaving here. Nobody is leaving here. We're all staying, all of us together. And the next year we got 105 points. You know, that was a magical year.
I mean, you mentioned Dennis Smith, and now in a funny sense, Tony Mowbray being here, and you've mentioned it before, being understanding it, getting it,
yeah.
And everyone does seem to have fallen in love with him.
Yeah, well, you know, Dennis Smith moved to the northeast. He got a house in Durham. Tony Mowbray lives in the northeast. You know, it's you know, it does half help.
There's a wonderful picture on the back of the book of you at St James's Park that night, and we all remember it because it was biblical. I mean, are those games that you, a night like that, one that you will always remember? I don't think any Sunderland fan who was there or watched it would ever forget.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something you mightn't be able to broadcast.
We'll see. Tell me, then we'll see.
Okay, well, it was August day, and we've had quite a bit of success at Newcastle over the last couple of decades. But it was an August day, and the roof was off. And it just so happened that we were sat in the bit the roof was off with our ladies and things like that. And the heavens opened. I mean, it rained like you've never seen rain, ever. And of course, we got soaked. The Newcastle board were undercover. So we were absolutely soaked. I've never seen rain like it. So after the game, we're in the boardroom. And so I sent down to the dressing room to get the strip of the unplaying substitute. So the strip came up and I got changed to the Newcastle boardroom. And I said to Freddie Shepherd, I says, I bet I'm not the only guy that has pants down in here.
I remember the night well, and I remember there were sort of tales that you'd been in the dressing room in a Sunderland strip, but I guess...
Yeah, well, it was in the boardroom. And I went, and I didn't have my shoes on. I got on the team bus and went back to Washington with 3 points. Yeah.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Total Sport North East. Whenever Newcastle and Sunderland play at the same time, you'll find our black and white commentary on FM and our red and white commentary on DAB and Freeview, channel 719.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
What was that?
Sir Bob Murray talking about his life and times at Sunderland, his autobiography. I'd do it all again, apart from obviously not appoint Howard Wilkinson. And he is giving all the proceeds from his autobiography,
we know Pritchard's not a striker,
to the Foundation of Light, which is a grand gesture.
That's not a striker.
I must say hello this afternoon.
Tony Mowbray might be happy
William
that
Watson.
He thinks Sunderland perform better without strikers. I don't know. I mean, let's face it, we don't have a problem.
With his son Billy and his grandson.
Problem scoring goals, do it.
Ben and I send our best wishes to you, William.
Yeah.
Keep that red flag flying high, William.
All the best, William.
It's not a right setup. You do need strikers.
William, I hope you have an enjoyable afternoon. We're hoping for a return to form with this Sunderland team, which has gone back to playing without a number 9 this afternoon. With all 3 of the fit strikers on the bench today. The Sunderland team is Patterson, Hume, O'Nien, Ballard and Huggins, Ekwa, Jobe, Roberts, Pritchard, Clark and Barr. in a moment's silence. It was a very brief moment of silence here. The bench is Bishop, Rigg, Aushish, Hamir, Burstow, Triantis, Sealt, Rusin and Dak. Stoke City, Travers in goal, Hoover, McNally, Rose and Stevens is the back four. Berger, Pearson, Johnson, the middle three, and Leris, Mai and Vidigal, the front three for Stoke City this afternoon. Sunderland will be in their Dayglow kit, the fluorescent yellow lime.
With what colour numbers?
But they've got big, bold black numbers on the back this afternoon to help everybody. With no Burstow up front, actually.
The flags are flying at the Bet365 Stadium.
I think he'll stand out, Joe. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how they set up. Again, you know, especially when you got Pritchard in the team.
Wouldn't say it's a full stadium.
That combination of Pritchard, your Roberts and Clark. You know, he's going to play an important part, Pritchard.
So a big flag at the moment just being held across the centre circle. That
I mean, Sunderland should be fired up, shouldn't have, the fact like the
children holding
that's
as we wait for the two teams to
emerge
from the tunnel down in the corner.
So I think there'll be a lot of points to prove today. And what better time to do it against former manager.
So teams emerging now from the tunnel away to our right. As ever, of course, Sunderland wearing their red tracksuit tops over their fluorescent kit this afternoon. Stoke City in their red and white stripes and white shorts. Alex Neil having made 5 changes today. And I know there was a discussion last night on Total Sport, Benno, with Sahal Sahai, who covers Stoke for BBC Radio Stoke, about Alex Neil and his future. I spoke with someone else here who's very, very close to the club and says they love Alex Neil, the owners. He's given carte blanche to do what he likes, and effectively has made changes not only with the playing staff but behind the scenes as well. He's well and truly part of the fabric of Stoke City, so I think they will stick with him.
Yeah, especially, you know, you look back, he's brought in 18 players. So, you know, I think what Alex Neil will be saying, or the club will be saying, you know, it's not a short-term fix. You know, it's a long-time job where, you know, it's going to take time to turn things around, get the players have got to get the understanding of what the manager is looking for, and the style.
Lads are just shaking hands now. The line-up: Anthony Patterson, Dan Ballard, Joe Billingham, Patrick Roberts, Luke O'Neill, Jack Clark, Try Hume, Alex Pritchard, Niall Huggins, Pierre Ekwa is back. A welcome back for him, and Abdullah Barr. Substitutes is Bishop, Adushi, Hamir, Seat, Trantis, Rick, Russian, Burstow, and Bradley Dack is on the bench for.
It's not as nice as the red and white stripes with a black number on the back, but practically speaking, it's a big help.
Mark Travis,
Kai John Hoover,
Luke McNally,
Michael in regards of the shirt,
Edna Stevens,
and that
Ben
the
Pearson,
FA
Wilton Berger, Daniel Johnson, Mahé Lewis, Andre Vigil, Ryan Murray, substitutes Jack Bowman, the one and only Lyndon Gooch substitutes for Stoke, John Thompson, Wesley, Saeed Hassan Bogovic, Bear Juno, Junior Tachmendio, Josh Laurent and Nathan Law are on the bench for Stoke.
It does seem there's an EFL dictate. They will tell you this is the kit you're going to wear at the game. You'll wear your home kit at home games, but you'll wear your away strip at away games.
I don't know.
Gone are the days of tradition, where you wore the red and white stripes everywhere.
I love this strip.
Unless there was a clash, obviously.
Love the strip we're playing in.
But, which there would have been, of course, this afternoon. So, regardless, Sunderland would have had to wear their away strip. But we understand the EFL don't like the second choice away strip. They don't like it, even though they sanctioned it.
Is that a person doesn't like it?
I don't know.
So it's a knock-on effect?
I don't know.
Wow.
You know the EFL, it won't be one person, will it? It'll be a whole room of them trying to reach decisions. The referee today is Graham Scott. He's a Premier League
Thanks for the
referee.
subscriber, thank you.
The last time he refereed Sunderland was 2017 at Leicester. A 2-0 win for Leicester on April the 4th, 2017. And before that, he refereed a game at Burnley 4, Sunderland 1, December the 31st, 2016.
Football thoughts are with them, their families and friends, along with all the communities that are affected by the escalating conflict.
Let's celebrate Nick Barnes' 1000th.
Teams spread from the centre circle into their respective halves. Sunderland away to our
right.
It's
not Remembrance Day, it's too early for that, because they usually start doing Remembrance Day about this time of year.
Right, it's a dry, breezy afternoon, but a far cry from the weather back home. The sun is shining. Sunderland are going to get the game underway. 3, 4, 5. In fact, most of the Sunderland players taking the knee, as do the Stoke City players. And referee Graham Scott gets the game underway. Pritchard just pushing the ball back to Luke O'Nien and back to Patterson, who is in light blue away to our right this afternoon, and just taps the ball out to Luke O'Nien on the left corner of the penalty area. Up into Jobe, just in front of the centre circle. In the
no sendings off today, please,
Pearson
lads.
Pushing the ball back to Travers, Mark Travers, the goalkeeper, who's a Republic of Ireland international on loan from Bournemouth. Pushes the ball out into midfield, and eventually back over on the far left-hand side. Enda Stevens, who's back from injury, signed from Sheffield United in the summer, the Republic of Ireland left back to
yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, it's something about Alex Neil, isn't it? Like welcome, nice to see you again, isn't it?
Michael Rose, who sweeps the ball down the left wing.
Well, he did used to like trucking, so it could
Daniel
be.
Johnson, and back again then to Rose, and Rose swings the ball across, looking out on the right-hand side to try and get the ball down the right wing to Hoover, the loanee we spoke about on Total Sport last night from Wolves.
It's interesting that Trey Hume is playing at left back. Huggins is playing at right back.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, they did that the other week, didn't they? They swapped them around, and that's the position today.
I'm not bitter over Alex Neil. End of the day, he got us promoted. I mean, I wouldn't be one of these singing that.
But adept at playing both sides. Pritchard away on the left-hand side here in the bright yellow, yellowy lime it is.
Hello, Alan Frost. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Halfway line wide on the left into
welcome on board.
Luke O'Nien into the middle to Dan Ballard, who's come through from Northern Ireland. That calf injury seems to be okay, or just about to start the third minute of the game. Pritchard misses a kick in the middle. Ben Pearson pushes the ball through on the left to Vidigal, the Portuguese forward, who's trying to get round Huggins, and Huggins just manages to block him and wins a throw for Sunderland off the Portuguese on the far side, on the right, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Alex Neil and Martin Canning deep in conversation now down at the foot of this stand in their technical area, back of the technical area. As Sunderland try and work it up to the halfway line, it bounces awkwardly. Roberts is going to give chase, but it's going to be played back to the goalkeeper by Rose, then played out to Luke McNally, who's on loan from Burnley. Another Irishman. He plays the ball back across to Michael Rose, who was signed in the summer from Coventry. He plays it back to the right-hand side of midfield to McNally, and again just spreads it to the left to Rose, and then to Stevens. And Stevens trying to play it through to Mai, the Moroccan international, won by Ekwa though. Ekwa on halfway line in the centre circle, short pass to Roberts. Roberts out wide, then to Barr. Barr trying to cut inside here on the corner of the penalty area. A couple of step overs across into the arms, though, of the goalkeeper, Travers. So Roberts is playing in the centre role. Barr is playing
nothing
wide
wrong with
right.
that. It's even better with big strutters.
Positions like that, Barr, you need better quality coming into the box.
0-0. Tony Mowbray wearing a big overcoat.
It's a good toxin for your body. Give it a try.
Travers plays the ball out here on the right-hand side to Hoover, the Dutchman. Plays it into the centre and it's picked up in the middle. There's a gap here. Mize chased through. Luckily, Patterson came out quickly. Johnson in the middle was completely on his own. Nobody picked him up.
He looked offside, but still was wide open there.
And he threaded a ball through for Mai to chase. Played out here to Jobe. They're in
the bad pass.
Under pressure here again. They've given the ball away. It's laid off by Berger to Vidigal. Back on the halfway line. Here on the right with McNally. McNally trying to get it out wide to Hoover, but blocked by Clark. But they've won it back again. Berger threading it right through the centre again, trying to get it up to Ryan Mai, but it's cleared. And back it comes again to an offside. Mai.
Hello, Neil Thomas. Give you a shout out to my kids.
It does.
Hello to Lucy and Adam, massive SAFC fans. Thanks. So hello to Lucy and Adam.
Sometimes you put too much pressure on the player.
Hope you have a good day, and I hope it's 3 points today.
Poor pass from Luke O'Neill into the midfield. Sometimes we've just got to get it out of our feet and maybe turn them for the 5 minutes.
I did say the talk was that there would be a high press from Stoke at the start of the game. Sunderland coming out again now with Jobe on the halfway line, out to Pritchard, just keeps the ball in front of Tony Mowbray, back to Hume, then through to Jobe, back out to Pritchard on the left-hand side, wide. He's got Clark ahead of him, back into Jobe. Jobe slips away from Johnson, and he twists, turns, goes full circle, and then swings the ball across to Huggins on the right, inside the Stoke City half. He's got Barr wide of him. Tries to get the ball through to Roberts in the penalty area, which he does to the goal line on the corner of the box, and then pulls it back to Barr. And Barr now down the right of the penalty area, trying to come in past Ender Stevens, finds Roberts at the back of the area, left foot shot over the bar and behind into the Bootham end for a goal kick to Stoke City. We're in the 6th minute. Stoke City 0, Sunderland 0, live here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Travers recovers the ball.
Everybody tuning in. There's not so much me chatting,
the last two
anybody else
games
chatting on
have
this
ended
channel.
in defeat.
It's purely
Stoke
commentary, unless anybody wants
and at Leicester,
me to answer
the
a
last
question.
win was at Bristol City 3-2. Only 3 wins this season, here against Rotherham, here against Watford, and at Bristol City. Ball comes back to Rose in the sunshine on that far side, and into the middle, Travers, the goalkeeper, who's out in the outfield, swings it down the right wing.
Would you be happy with a point today, lads?
To the feet of O'Neill, but he's got a little bit tangled up, but he managed to recover and gets the ball back to Patterson, chased down by Mai, but a kick up to the halfway line. Roberts thought he was fouled. The centre half Rose got above him, but a header down here now, edge of the area, and Mai scores. Flag stays down. The ball was played through to him by Leris, just outside the penalty area, and in the 7th minute, the Moroccan gives Stoke City the lead.
Yeah, we just didn't deal with it, Nick. We tried to play our way out. The ball's in the air, and they were quicker. They reacted quicker than us. Won the header, and then you've got to say it was a good finish. But we've been putting ourselves under pressure.
We were saying that very thing. Leris is passed through to Mai, and Mai. Oh my. Stoke City 1, Sunderland 0. Mai's first goal of the season.
It bounced off his arm.
Ferenc Varos in the summer. And gets his first goal.
That bounced off his arm, clearly. I'd love to see a replay of that.
Not the start Sunderland were hoping for.
No, and they've got to show some character now.
Certainly the Stoke fans very much behind their team and Alex Neil at the moment. Sunderland have got the come from behind again, but they are amongst the teams that have got most points from doing so this season, as Pritchard tries to make a pass into the penalty area, which is cleared by Stoke. They get it out again, up here on the right, Johnson up to the halfway line. O'Nien can't get his foot to it. Mai gets on it here on the right, Ekwah and Hume. Hume manages to, well, he pushes Mai over and wins the throw. And put a halt to that particular break by Stoke City.
Maybe that's a wake-up call and needed, Sunderland.
Possibly.
It mustn't have been handball, because Gary Bennett and them were not saying anything about it.
Behind him is Ekwah. Wide to Huggins on the far side. Back inside to Ballard. Ballard to Job again, just at the back of the centre circle. And Job taking it out to the right and finding Huggins. Huggins cutting inside. He's in the Stoke half, finding Barr. Barr wide. Stevens tackles him too easily. Barr can't keep the ball in on the far side, and it's a throw to Stoke.
You know, we can go back to the Middlesbrough game. And one thing which we struggled to do was get Jack Clark into the game.
Yes, you're right.
You know, we need to get Jack Clark in the game somehow. He needs to get on the ball.
There's a question mark over a handball involved in the lead up to the goal, but it's not going to change a thing now, is it? It's been given, even if there was, as Job breaks here to the corner of the Stoke penalty area, tries a low ball down to Clark.
Well done.
And in the 10th minute, Job sets up Clark 6 yards
Get in!
to net into an empty goal.
Get in!
And Sunderland are level.
I tell you, a great play by Job Bellingham. He's run with the ball, he's cut inside, he's got back, and he's been able to get his shot away. Good save by the goalkeeper, but credit to Jack Clark as he was following it in.
Well, they needed to get back in the game quickly. They did.
Well, we said it. You know, hopefully it was a wake-up call.
Yes, and they got down the other end, and Clark there. Nobody picked up Jack Clark from a Stoke perspective. He simply tapped the ball into the empty net.
It just showed a replay of that Stoke City goal again, and so I don't know what the hell the referee and linesman are doing. I really do not know.
Here at Stoke City. And here the Sunderland fans away to our right in full voice again now. The early blow of the Stoke goal, the Sunderland equaliser from Jack Clark, his 8th of the season. And as you say, Benno, hopefully they've had the wake-up call and they can get a grip of the game. 1-1, 12th minute. Here's McNally in the Stoke City half, to the edge of the centre circle. Pearson plays it to McNally, back to Pearson, Ben Pearson, signed from Bournemouth in the summer. He had a season here on loan. Back to McNally, looking to try and thread it through to Vidigal. He thought it was fouled, the referee doesn't.
Yes, sir.
And now Ekwah finds Roberts out to
You
Pritchard.
right?
Clark making a run, Roberts making his run. Pritchard still going down the left of the penalty area, trying to shake off Hoover. He slips it inside to Roberts, back to Pritchard down the left. He drops a ball over the penalty area to the far side. It'll be a chase for Barr to the touchline. He keeps it in. He's got Huggins in support. He's got Ekwah behind him. Ekwah now almost on the halfway line. He slips it through the middle to Hume. Hume in the middle, in the centre circle. Taps it to Ballard just behind him on halfway on the right-hand side. Trying to thread it through. It's blocked by Stevens. Comes down to Huggins. And then
yeah, no, I've just blocked Dan from Discord because he was 30 seconds ahead of me there.
Just a couple of yards in.
I'm not bothered at all. You shout goal as much as you want. That don't bother me at all.
Live here on BBC Radio Newcastle.
Absolutely.
We'll be on Tuesday night. Full commentary from Filbert Street. That's a big test. 8 o'clock kickoff on Tuesday night. Leicester City, who seem to be well, all the talk is they're already up, isn't it?
Yeah, they're doing well, aren't they?
But needed to be, because that goal was an absolute disgrace. I don't know where they're getting the refs from in this league, honest to God, because to have an assistant and the ref to actually miss that handball is just absolutely beggars belief. And no, we're not twining and whinging about the refs for an excuse. It is actually being had again. Terrible.
A wall along the back of the penalty area. It's Pritchard to take the free kick from the far side, about halfway inside the Stoke half into the penalty area. Ballard's trying to get his.
How obvious of a handball can you get?
It's well marshalled at the edge of the penalty area and heads over the bar.
Oh, it's just shocking, like.
Ball just dropped down as they do these days for the centre back to pass it back to the goalkeeper. Then Travers plays it back out to Michael Rose. And he just strolls out into the field and then passes it to his right to McNally. Hoover's out here wide on the right touchline. Back to Rose. Rose in the middle of the Stoke City half, driving it wide on the right, but it's going to drop for Hume off the foot of Leris.
Hello, Dave.
And then back from Hume to Patterson, driven out to Jobe. He's under pressure from Pearson, but it's Ekwa who tried to tidy up, gives the ball away to Leris. Now here is Hoover. He swings a ball across the 6-yard box from the right, away from Vidigal though, out to the far side, and out for a throw to Stoke City.
Yeah, it's a poor kick out from Patterson. He's got to do better.
There's a couple of times they've been untidy in their clearances, haven't they? And they've given possession back to Stoke, and here is Stoke again. Pearson just in front of the centre circle, short pass here to the right to McNally. The Stoke press again. McNally on the right just plays it back to the edge of the centre circle. Pearson to Rose, Rose to Stevens wide on the left. Stevens back to Michael Rose, Rose to
Is your fire still not working still, Darth?
From Basel in the summer. And back
Does your fire stick still not work?
Rose forwards to Johnson, the Jamaican. He plays it back to.
Oh, did you uninstall it in that, yeah?
Halfway line. Now Berger again runs into Clark, but Leris gets the loose ball. Plays it wide to Hoover. Back inside to Berger. Berger on his left, straight at Patterson. Got his body behind it, on his knee. Makes a comfortable save from Wouter Berger.
Yeah, comfortable save.
How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I'll get through it.
You're right.
If we get another goal for someone,
you'll get to half time. Pick you up. You want to pick me up? You've had one. Need another. Here's Hume on the left to Pritchard. Oh, he's given the ball straight to McNally. Berger flicks it through to Johnson through the middle, trying to thread it through to Vidigal, but it's gone right through to Patterson. Sunshine on one of the hills surrounding the Stoke City Stadium. 7 towns. Can you name the 7 towns? Not now necessarily. But I might give you that little test. I'm not sure if I can remember them all actually. Back here on the right, Pearson. Back to McNally. Forwards to Berger again, just behind the centre circle. Pearson on the right-hand side, back to Luke McNally.
Well, my mail 0-0 goes out the window because it's Huddersfield 2, QPR 0.
City the first half of the year, second half of last season. Plays it back to Michael Rose, who came from Coventry City, and they will be no strangers to each other in terms of a partnership. Here is Hoover down the right-hand side. He's found Leris to cross, and it's headed clear by Ballard, but to the feet of Hoover, who lays it off here to Leris on the right again, and Clark in front of him, back to Hoover, who crosses, looking for Vidigal or Mai. But it's cleared by Sunderland out to the wing again, but again picked up by Stoke City, by Kijana Hoover, and here's Pearson on the right, back to McNally. In the 18th minute, 1-1. Rose bringing the ball forwards for Stoke City. Then it's spread wide again. Hoover will have to chase hard for this. Has he kept it in? No. It's a goal kick.
But that's what we've got to be aware of.
Man City 2, Brighton 0, Newcastle 1, Palace 0, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0.
Cleaning up.
He is.
We've got to keep a hand on it.
As Ballard stands at the right corner of the 6-yard box, the ball at his feet, taps it to Patterson. I I fail to understand what that achieves, quite honestly, but I don't know why they do it.
I love it.
I'm sure there's a reason. Hume can't quite keep the ball in.
Decision making's been poor.
Aye, leave me alone.
For a throw to Stoke in front of Alex Neil. It comes back to Pearson. Inside to Rose.
Hey, Google it. It actually...
And then to...
It's really, really good for your body.
And back to Travers, the goalkeeper. 1-1 here at Stoke City, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. High ball drops on the head of Hume on this on this left-hand side, sorry, and out again for a throw to Sunderland. Tony Mowbray chasing back to get the ball, gets it. What's the referee seen here? Graham Scott.
No, he's complaining that he thought he was pushed.
Is that Alex Neil? He's coming for a word with. Graham Scott having a word with Alex Neil. Of course, the Sunderland fans loving that. Tony Mowbray having a word with Trey Hume. There's quite a stern talking to for Alex Neil. And just steps back and picks up a bottle of water. Game will resume with this throw from Hume on the left-hand side, just inside the
poor
Stoke half. It's come
sloppy.
Back though for Mai. He's fouled by Hume, and it'll be a free kick which Pearson wanted to try and take quickly, but he hasn't had a chance to do so, and he's left it now for Johnson. Changing his boots is Hoover down below us. We're waiting for him to get back on the pitch as he puts his left boot on, just adjusting it around the ankle and the right one, and Hoover jogs back on, and Daniel Johnson,
be alive,
will step away from the free kick.
Hull 0, Southampton 1.
Hoover takes it and gets the ball back here and rolls it into the penalty area, and Vidigal couldn't really get a grip of it. Too many yellow shirts around him, and it's out to Roberts on the left. Pritchard ahead of him, and Johnson brought Pritchard down from behind, and he's grabbed his ankle.
He's going to get a
yellow card here for Johnson, to the displeasure of the home supporters. It's the first yellow of the afternoon in the 21st minute. Stoke City 1, Sunderland 1. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle. So here's Pritchard on the left to take it.
What they're saying?
A couple of yards in from the touchline, 15 yards inside the Stoke City half. Pritchard, when he took a step forward, stopped, then passes it to Jobe, who's pushed in the back by Pearson. Another free kick to Sunderland on the left of central midfield. Luke O'Nien leaves it for Trey Hume again. Man of the match, or player of the match, I should say now, for Northern Ireland this week against Slovenia.
What was it with Madam Sue?
He passes it inside to Jobe. Jobe swings it across on the far side to Huggins. Huggins has got Barr on the touchline. Here's Barr, cuts back, trying to get forward down the right now, away from Enda Stevens, pushes it to Huggins. Huggins comes back with it and turns and tries to get away from Vidigal. Through to Barr. Barr, was he fouled? The referee says no by Stevens. It's played up to Leris. Mady Leris, but he's lost it in the challenge to O'Nien. Finds Clark. Clark trying to get through, gets away from Berger. Clark slips it inside to Pritchard. Berger fouls him. Edge of the D.
Clever. Pritchard, clever.
Yeah, he went
won
down,
the free kick.
He knew he was going to win that.
Good steal.
I think other referees would have seen that as a good old-fashioned shoulder barge. I think Pritchard, as you say, is clever enough to make something of it. You'll fancy this Pritchard. It's 20 yards out.
Yeah.
Just outside the D on the left. Daniel Johnson having a discussion with the referee, not stepping back yet, but he is now. And the referee will move this wall back a few yards. There's no way they're 10 yards back at the minute. Nice distance out for Pritchard. Now, referee marching the ball back now. Mark Travers, the goalkeeper's come out for a word with Graham Scott. All in black, the referee this afternoon. Trey Hume stands behind the wall, trying to obscure the goalkeeper's view of what Pritchard is trying to size up here with Roberts on his shoulder. We're in the 24th minute. Roberts and Pritchard standing over the ball at the moment.
Hit the target.
Goalkeeper's come out again, his arms wide spread as he steps backwards into his goal mouth again. He's in the middle of the goal at the moment. Pritchard.
They're not on the line.
What's the referee saying here about the line? That, two Sunderland players amongst the Stoke players. Hume backs away. Pritchard with his right, it comes off the wall. Didn't get enough height on it. Comes back to Huggins on the right side, closed down by Andre Vidigal. And then maybe has he left it a bit short for Patterson, nearly, as Ryan Mai came sprinting through, and they're all saying shoot from halfway as Patterson tries to get back into his penalty area, and Huggins brings down one of the Stoke players. I think it's Vidigal he's brought down.
Yeah, he's going to get a booking.
And he's going to get a booking, isn't he, Huggins?
But again, Nick, you know, do we need to say it time and time again? That was sloppy.
Yes, it was.
From Luke O'Nien, a pass back to Patterson, putting him under pressure.
Yeah, Huggins is going to be shown a yellow card. It's got a bit niggly, hasn't it, this game?
I don't know, Nick, you switched on.
Huggins across here now. And it's a free kick, which will be taken on the left of midfield, halfway inside the Sunderland.
They're a poor side, Stoke City, like these are the poor side. They're there for the taking. These
fans at one of the Sunderland players receiving a yellow to match their kit, as they try and hold a line here. Sunderland at the front of the D, and Patterson's come out and bark in a few instructions. Johnson with the free kick swings to the edge of the area, and Huggins heads it out, headed back by Pearson. Up goes Mai, but it drops for O'Nien to hook clear up into the centre circle. Roberts thought he'd been fouled, but play goes on here. Ekwa laying it off to Huggins on the right-hand side, closed down by Vidigal, plays it back to Ekwa. Ekwa across here now to O'Nien, and O'Nien bringing this up to the halfway line and into the Stoke half, lays it off to Hume here on the left-hand side, back to Jobe at the left of the centre circle, and Jobe trying to find Roberts, and in the end Rose did enough to put him off, and the ball with Vidigal. Ekwa chasing him into the Sunderland half, the ball given away. Ballard has it, runs and gets away from Johnson, slips the ball to Pritchard, trying to get it out to Clark, and play's been pulled back for a foul on Ballard.
Well done, Ballard, excellent work. But you know what we need to do? You need to get the ball out to Clark.
Yes.
He hasn't seen enough of the ball. Every time he's got the ball, he's caused problems.
Clark here.
What's your thoughts of the opening 25 minutes then, lads?
He just couldn't control it. Bounces off him, comes back out to Hume. Hume in the centre circle to Huggins on the right, looking for the run of Joe, but it's overhit. And Mark Travers will gather that comfortably enough on the far side of the penalty area. Bradley Datt warming up with
Hull 1, Southampton 1.
And Burstow. Here's McNally. Holding it for a moment, then playing it to Rose as Pritchard went to close him down. Back to McNally on this right-hand side. Back again to Rose. 28th minute, 1-1 here. Ender Stevens gets it down the
Arsenal on Sky again.
Heel from Vidigal to Johnson inside to Berger in the Sunderland half just, and down the touchline to Berger, and Vidigal trying to get it, but Ballard's on his shoulder. It's played back in from the wing, just bounces away from Leris and is gathered by Patterson. Leris jogging out with Hume.
For 44 watching, if you can hit the thumbs up, thank you. And if you're new to the channel, just hit that subscribe button.
Patterson,
thank you very much.
And then out to Luke O'Nien here on the left, outside the penalty area in the Sunderland half. Foot on the ball, and then takes it forwards, then plays it back to Dan Ballard at the edge of the D, and out wide then on the far side. Huggins inside to Ekwa. Ekwa in the middle of the Sunderland half, looking for Jobe, cut out by Johnson, drops for Vidigal. He tries to flick it in through to Berger, but won by Jobe, but put out for a throw to Stoke City. Alex Neil getting...
We need to get rid of the 3 o'clock blackouts, as simple as that. It's a lot of rubbish.
Stevens with the throw, back to Rose.
Let the fans watch the game, man. And, that can't get to the games.
Across now to McNally. Forwards again to
It's
Pearson.
bollocks, man.
He's
It's gone on too
Joe.
long now.
Loose
It's like
ball,
time to move with the times.
Pearson again. And then played out wide on the left-hand side. Stevens bringing this forward. Stevens cross, looking for Mai, headed away by O'Nien. Bounces away.
It's right, Duff. I mean, how many people would subscribe and pay to watch the live 3 o'clocks?
Got his fingertips to it to knock it over the top.
You've got to win that second ball, Nick.
Yes.
You know, Bellingham is bounds. You've got to win it.
First corner of the game. Falls to Stoke City.
Swansea 1, Leicester 1.
And going down to take it is Johnson. On the right-hand side here in front of the bank of Sunderland fans.
Concentrate here.
All around the penalty spot, but 2 in the 6-yard box as well.
Your video's gone off now.
It's driven in poorly by Johnson, easily cleared by Roberts, but Pearson has it now on the right, looking for the gap.
Stand up.
Down the right-hand side of the penalty area for Leris, but Roberts comes away with it. Gets the ball out to the left here to Pritchard. Pritchard looking for Clark, but across has come Stevens to get in the way and block it, and then Pearson forwards to Berger. And it's sort of a poor man's Peter Crouch, isn't he, Berger? Look of him.
Yeah, he looks like a big lad, doesn't he?
He is tall, isn't he? 6'3", Crouch-like.
Do you think he likes fries with that then, lads, or not?
For Sunderland. Deep in his own half.
Do you think he likes fries with that?
Half an hour. Hume still waiting to take this throw. Finds Pritchard eventually. Back to Hume. Hooks it high in the air. And it's
tomato sauce on that.
To Berger by Pearson. And Berger gets it back from Johnson. Rolls it to Vidigal at the edge of the area. Right foot shot headed behind by Ballard. Another corner to Stoke.
Another corner, but another mistake by Sunderland. It was our throw.
They're making too many mistakes at the back, Sunderland at the minute, like.
And then even then we didn't retain the ball. They win it. And they've won themselves a corner.
Johnson again, this from the left. Again, 1, 2, 4 around the penalty spot, 2 in the 6-yard box. Johnson's corner's better this time, headed behind again by Jobe.
What's it about? Yeah,
another corner. Johnson gets the ball, taking it back to take this second consecutive Stoke corner. And again, they get closer in towards the 6-yard box, the Stoke players this time. They break, Berger breaks, it's played towards the back of the 6-yard box, and Mai's header's headed away by Jobe.
Good.
Come on, lads.
Good defending.
It was goal bound, but Jobe read it, headed it out. Clark trying to get away, but he's lost it. Here's Mai down the right of the penalty area, blocked by Pritchard, his cross. And it's a throw to Stoke, a couple of yards up from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Hoover is coming down to take this. Back to Pearson, down the right to Hoover again. The cross is, took a touch from Pritchard. It's dropped for Hume, clears it out to Roberts. And Stoke maintain a press here and are making it difficult for Sunderland to get the ball out of their 18-yard zone, if you like, and it's just eventually come back off of Leris for a goal kick.
My second team, Carlisle, have made a long trip down to Portsmouth.
Availability, especially when you're playing without a striker. You know, the service into the likes of Roberts or Barr or even Pritchard, it's got to be good. It's got to be into the feet. Not going to win anything in the air.
Patterson then with his right foot.
Oh, Swansea 1, Leicester 0. That goal's been ruled out.
To Luke O'Nien here on the left-hand side and drives it up the halfway line, and Hoover heads it right back through to Mai, who's offside.
But again, bad delivery. One header and O'Neill in.
Luke O'Nien will take the free kick.
See, they have not got a target man to hit.
No, here's Berg,
and come straight
Barr
back.
they were looking for, but Eckler has to do some tidying up, and he finds Roberts. Now he's tried to lay it off for Barr to chase down the right wing. Pritchard in the middle. Clark is going to join him. It's come back to Roberts. Roberts now. He's gone wide again. Barr, Huggins is up.
He likes his yellow cards on United.
Plays it back to Eckler,
loves his
pushing
yellow
it
cards.
on to Roberts, but he's given away again. Leris, and then there could be a free kick pulled back here. O'Nien, and then Johnson's fouled as well. O'Nien, there's going to be another yellow card for O'Nien here.
No, Hume.
Oh, Hume. O'Nien made the first foul.
Yeah.
Hume made the second foul, and he's given the free kick now for the second foul. He played the advantage for the first. He thought about pulling it back, but he let play go on. And Hume is booked.
You just feel as though we're not at it, are we?
No. It's disjointed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quickly taken the free kick out to Hoover, back to Pearson, back to Rose, just behind the centre circle, then to McNally. The only part of the pitch in sunshine now is the Sunderland penalty area, with the sun in Patterson's eyes. Here's Jobe on the halfway line, trying to get forwards. Pritchard goes for it, Pearson beats him to it. Leris tackled by Jobe, and another free kick.
Yes,
I thought he got the ball. I think that's a poor decision actually by Graham Scott.
He's got the ball.
I thought he got the ball.
Referee.
Leris made more of it. Jobe trying to protest his case. But another free kick awarded to Stoke City. And Pearson and Clark play a ball between themselves.
That's not a foul.
I didn't think it was a foul. The referee talking to Ben Pearson at the moment, tells him to put the ball down and take the free kick. 1-1 in the 36th minute. Here is Berger from Pearson. It's driven straight at Hume, then Jobe. Lovely little touch to get away from Berger, but then the ball straight to Rose, and Leris tries to spin round Jobe, but it comes back to O'Nien. Forwards to Pritchard. Pritchard on the left here, trying to get down to Clark. He tried a little backheel flick down the line, but it went out.
It's too tight.
Out for a throw to Stoke City on this right wing in their own half. Kijana Hoover, 21 years old he is, the Dutchman. Began his footballing journey at Liverpool before signing for Wolves. Ball comes right back to Patterson. Vidigal goes tumbling down, and he's trying to appeal for a foul. He's never going to get it.
He's never going to get the ball.
Barr on the far side.
Don't lose it. Don't lose it.
Battling away with Stevens, winning the battle and going down on the pitch for his troubles, but the ball through to O'Nien, out to Hume on this left-hand side, and then forwards trying to find Pritchard, but headed away by McNally. Up to Pearson on the halfway line. Leris. O'Nien sneaks in, gets the ball off him, leaves it for Hume. Hume on the halfway line on the left, to O'Nien just to his left, who taps it back to Hume, and Hume into the centre circle. Back behind him is Eckler. Forwards again to Roberts. Wide to Huggins on the run, down the right wing. Myers gone with him. Huggins still has it. Corner of the penalty area. Barr in on the right here. He's got to get to the goal line and pull it back. He does. The flag stays down. It didn't go out, and it's come over on this far side, and it's going to be Leris who has to deal with this in the corner, and out it comes to Johnson. Johnson back to Hoover, and he lifts it up to the halfway line, and Vidigal seemed to arch O'Nien in the back, and he gets the free kick.
What was he waiting for?
Took a bit of a few seconds delay to make the decision, but he eventually did. O'Nien takes the free kick to Eckler, back to Jobe. 38th minute, Stoke City 1, Sunderland 1. Clark on the left runs into Hoover, gets the ball off him easily, brings it out, and Clark tries to win it back. Hoover has to work here to get it away from Pritchard, back to Pearson. Back then to McNally, who's under pressure from Pritchard.
Go on then, go on then.
He gets it out straight to Clark. Clark on the left-hand side. Inside now to Jobe. Jobe, back behind him, Eckler. Eckler looks up, left-footed shot, but it's going to bobble round the post. bounces a couple of yards wide for a goal kick to Stoke City.
I think we can press a lot more. We've seen, you know, a couple of times, especially the two centre-backs are not very comfortable on the ball.
BBC Radio Newcastle, 39th minute. 2 early goals. Ryan May in the 7th minute, 3 minutes later Jack Clark's equaliser. Set up by Job. Kick from Travers up through the middle. O'Nien heads it back to Patterson. Standing just to the left of his penalty spot. Leaves it for Luke O'Nien, who plays it back to Patterson, then out to Ballard on the right-hand side, and Ballard through to Ekwa. Ekwa turns and trying to get away from Berger. Does. Through to Pritchard on the right of the centre circle to Roberts. Roberts now with Barr wide. Roberts still dribbling at Berger. Lays it off to Barr. Pritchard picks himself up after falling down. Here's Roberts on the right to Barr again at the corner of the penalty area. Roberts down the right towards lovely shimmy inside of Stevens, but pulls the ball back straight to Pearson, who clears it over into touch.
Great play.
Superb play from Roberts.
That's what we want to see. We want to see more of that.
Yeah, just needed the final ball. Huggins forwards to take the throw a few yards from the corner flag on the right. He's got Roberts, he's got Barr, not a lot of other support over there. It drops to Barr, almost on the touchline, almost in the corner. It's another throw to Sunderland. Huggins again to take this, almost the same spot as last time. Pritchard's joined in this time, and Pritchard it drops to, and he tries to take it down the touchline, keeps it in, puts the ball in the penalty area, but
nobody there. You've got to react.
And it comes back here to Barr.
He's missed. You've got to react.
Barr had an opportunity to take the lead there after the mistake by Stoke and trying to clear the ball. He whipped in, but with his left put it into the side netting.
He's got to put them away, Nick.
He should have scored.
He should have scored. You've got to hit the target.
But he drove it into the netting. Great opportunity. You know, you've got those are the mistakes you've got to capitalise on. And Stoke just got themselves in a tangle as they tried to clear it. So 1-1 still.
One of his.
And it's dropped for Ekwa in the Sunderland half, out here on the left to Hume, leaves it for Clark. Clark now looking for Pritchard, but McNally gets in front of him and puts it in the air, and it's headed down by Job. Then it's put through by Berger, but straight to Huggins, to Ballard, and back to Patterson to swing his left foot through it, out to Huggins on the right-hand side. Up to
bad pass.
Straight into the path of Stevens, down the left to Vidigal, and a good challenge by Huggins to deny Vidigal.
Why do we always seem to have a problem with strikers at this bloody football club of ours? What is the problem with strikers?
Got to concentrate.
Johnson will take the corner. Everybody trying to squeeze into the 6-yard box. Johnson from the left-hand side. It's McNally on his own on the penalty spot. Someone's got to pick him up, and eventually Huggins does. Well, there's a big size differential between the two of them. And Johnson now swings his left foot with it, and it's a poor corner again. Drops to Roberts at the edge of the 6-yard box, and eventually comes all the way back to Travers. Closed down by Barr, but he passes it out wide to Stevens on the left, who's trying to find Mai, headed away by Ballard. Ekwa leaves it now for Job. Job in the middle, back to Ekwa. Ekwa
quicker.
He's bringing this up to the halfway line, left of the centre circle, finding Clark on the left-hand side. Clark hoovers on his shoulder. Clark goes inside and then plays it back to Job at the front of the centre circle. Pritchard just ahead of him, out wide on the right to Roberts.
That's
Roberts
mad.
Gets it on his left, plays it through, looking for Pritchard, but Berger cuts it out, then plays it out on the left, appeals for handball.
Yeah, handball. It's his hand.
Did. Free kick taken by Stoke. And Pearson now out wide to Leris, on this right-hand side.
Colin B, 1-1, it certainly is, mate.
And now Pearson And Pearson into the centre circle to Berger. Berger again back to Rose through the middle. Johnson looking for the run of Vidigal, but back through to Patterson. So 44th minute, all square at the moment, 1-1, but Barr had a brilliant opportunity to give Sunderland the lead for the first time in the game. Out to O'Nien on this left side. Job spins around Johnson, down the line to Hume. Hume looking for Pritchard's run, but Hoover's got the legs and gets in front of Pritchard and plays it back to Mark Travers, the goalkeeper, who passes it out to Michael Rose. And the 28-year-old Scotsman leaves it for Pearson. Back to Rose. Rose back to Pearson, just outside the Stoke penalty area. He lays it off to McNally. And McNally's lifted it up looking for Vidigal through the middle. Leris has gone down again here. The referee's stopped play.
Passing is too lacklustre today, like says Lampshade. Two bookings I see.
The referee's come across to see what the...
He is a pain.
what the problem is with May.
Terrible first half, like it's an awful game.
Nothing wrong with him. What's he
He's up on his
for?
feet now. He signed from Sampdoria, the Algerian, in the summer. Stretches. Drop ball here for Hume from the referee Graham Scott. We're in the last minute of the 45. Will Finney is the fourth official, strolling out with the board. O'Nien turns it out here now to Hume.
Oh, he's gone.
Hume's looking for Clark. Clark, eye on it, headed away though behind him by McNally. Out for a throw, which Hume will take in front of Tony Mowbray. Pritchard's down the left, he's got Job inside, but Johnson's keeping an eye on him, and Job loses him. 3 minutes added on. Here's O'Nien across to Ballard in the middle of the Sunderland half. And then Ballard wide to Huggins, inside to Roberts on the halfway line, on the right, back to Ballard behind him, and then back to Patterson, and out to Luke O'Nien. Inside to Equa, back to O'Nien. O'Nien wide on the left, out to the touchline. Hume in front of Alex Neil. Turns Leris, turns him again, slips it through to Clark here, but it might be too much shown to Pearson, who whips it away to Johnson. And Johnson trying to get it through to Mai, but Ballard's got in front of him and turns the ball back to Patterson. Out to Hume, had to be quick because Berger was on his case. And now here is Equa. Equa trying to get the ball through to Clark on halfway, but intercepted. And it's out for a throw on the left here to
We're not losing.
Hume going to retrieve the ball that's just been tapped away by Alex Neil. Takes the throw back to O'Nien, back to Hume.
Hello.
Hume here to O'Nien again on the touchline.
Hello.
Down the line to Pritchard. Tackled by Pearson, throw to Stoke.
I'm here.
Pritchard trying to plead that it should have been a Sunderland throw.
Let's get him in at half time.
I am. It's scrappy. Look, we're not losing. We've come back quickly to make it 1-1. We're playing a very gritty, scrappy Stoke City. You're not going to get every game pretty, are you? So we're not losing.
He kicks,
and that's the main thing. And we can only improve in the second half.
Headed on by Leris, but it'll be Patterson's ball. Comes out, collects it at the corner in front of Ryan May. Ryan Mai, sorry. It's rolled to O'Nien. To Hume. Hume, Sunderland in there. Bright yellow. In fact, when you look at it closely, when you're close up to it, it's sort of yellow lime colour, but from a distance it looks day glow yellow. Here's Hume wide on the left.
Offside,
break for Barr. He's onside. He's trying to get away from McNally, but he's very, very wide. Now cutting inside. In the middle is Job. Berger goes to close him down. Job finds Roberts at the corner of the penalty area. Overlap from Huggins coming, but Roberts shot on a little flick from Pritchard, but into the hands of the goalkeeper. He's got his body right fully behind it. Pritchard just trying to flick it from 6 yards as it went through from Roberts' shot.
Excellent run by Barr.
And we've got about 20 seconds or so left of the first half. The ball is with Travers, the Stoke goalkeeper, strolling out with the ball into midfield.
And blows whistle now.
Kicking now down the right, headed down by Hume, out for a throw to Stoke. And that will be it. That's the half-time whistle from Graham Scott. All square, 1-1, but it's been, from a Sunderland perspective, a scrappy first half, really. They'd look disjointed, they'd not look comfortable.
Well, they look as though they're a team who hasn't played for 2 weeks, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, a couple of times, you know, the passing's been sloppy. You know, reacting to the second ball. You know, moving the ball a lot quicker, making them runs, the retention off the ball. But, you know, the good thing is that we're going in level.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, I would imagine Tony Mowbray will be saying, come on, let's up it a little bit, the tempo. I think they're not very comfortable at the back, but we need to put a little bit more pressure on them.
A question for you, do you think they're missing Dan Neil?
Well, you can, yeah. I think they are missing Dan Neil in there. Obviously, Roberts is going in there. Is he better in there, or is he better out wide?
Well, you know, my view on Roberts at the moment is that he's not the player he was last season.
No.
Now, is that because he's not got Ahmad, or is it for other reasons? But you know, we've seen moments from him, but we're not seeing the consistency from Roberts that we were seeing.
No, not at all. You know, Patrick Roberts is a footballer. You know, and he needs one or two footballers around him. What I mean by that is players who are clever. You know, Ahmed gave him that. You know, we all know what Pritchard brings to the table, and Jack Clark, but we're just missing that link.
Thanks for the subscriber. Thank you.
Clark as well, you said in the first
yeah,
half.
let's have a look at the social media, shall we?
What Sunderland do is get the ball to Clark.
They've got to get the ball to Clark.
Yeah.
You know, you look at that first 45 minutes, and you think that every time Clark gets the ball, it causes one or two problems.
Yeah, okay.
But it doesn't get enough of the ball.
Terrible
you know,
first
the
half.
Game, which we keep highlighting,
far too sloppy.
He didn't get in the game.
Get a beep centre forward on, man, for goodness sake.
Tony Mowbray needs to
Stoke
do
there for the take, and I've said that before. Need a striker on half time.
How will he address
SHITE, someone said. Someone else has said there's game for the taking. Never seen as many straight passes from a Tony Mowbray's side as there has been today. Stoke are there for the taking if the passing was better. So, there we go. A lot of people saying that Stoke aren't a very, very decent side, and a lot of people are saying, let's get a striker on. That seems to be the mood in the Sunderland fans camp at the minute.
I mean, Ben Pearson's doing a lot, tidying up at the back for them. Berg is getting his foot on the ball through the middle, and both Mai and Vidigal look a handful when they get on the end of things.
They do indeed, but again, you're looking at that game and you think it's a game, if Sunderland can get a grip of it, they can go and win it.
I mean, the big thing is that they got back in it. To go down 1-0 in the manner in which they did, it could have been costly. Stoke could have moved on from that. They didn't. They got back in the game from Jack Clark. Half-time then, second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle, SAFC.com. Stoke 1, Sunderland 1.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Been asking you when you've been locked out of somewhere. Andy from Sunderland's on the phone.
We'd had a sales meeting, a couple of drinks were had. I went to bed and my bedtime attire at that time was just a t-shirt. At some point I managed to leave my bedroom sleepwalking and was literally just about to walk out of the hotel front door into the middle of Manchester. And I woke up just as my colleagues were returning to the hotel. So I'll just say it was December, it was very cold. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Back Monday morning
from 6.
That'll do first half. Well done, lads. Rusty Mackham, Gran Canaria, thanks for the radio coverage. I've lost all
Total
these streams. You're welcome, Rusty. Thanks for tuning in.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
At half-time then at St James's Park, it's Newcastle United 3, Crystal Palace 0, and at the Bet365 Stadium it's Stoke City 1, Sunderland 1. We will be back with our respective commentary teams very shortly for full coverage of the second half. So let's start with the Premier League scores as they stand then. The early kick-off was the Merseyside derby, which Liverpool won by 2-0. Mo Salah scoring twice in the last 15 minutes. In the 3 o'clock kick-offs at half-time, Bournemouth are 1-0 up on Wolves thanks to Dominic Solanke. Brentford are 1-0 up on Burnley thanks to Johan Vissa. Manchester City lead Brighton 2-0, Julian Alvarez and Erling Haaland. As we know, Newcastle are 3-0 up on Crystal Palace. And it's goalless between Nottingham Forest and Luton. Chelsea against Arsenal kicks off at 5:30. Sheffield United against Manchester United kicks off at 8 o'clock.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
There was an early game in the Championship as well that finished Preston 1, Millwall 1, but in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Blackburn and Cardiff is goalless, but Bristol City lead Coventry by a goal to nil. That goal coming from Dickey in the final minute of the first half. It's Huddersfield 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Huddersfield 2 up after 15 minutes. Jake Clark-Salter getting one back for Queen's Park Rangers just before half-time. Hull 1, Southampton 1, goalless at the Riverside between Middlesbrough and Birmingham. Norwich are 2-0 up on Leeds United. Leicester, top of the table, drawing 1-1 away at Swansea. Vestergaard equalising for Leicester on the stroke of half-time. And goalless in the last 2 games in the Championship as well. Watford against Sheffield Wednesday and West Bromwich Albion against Plymouth Argyle.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC podcast.
On BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into non-league then, Gateshead's game at Chesterfield in the National League was postponed, but in National League North, Blythe Spartans at home to the league leaders Tamworth. Our non-league reporter Paul Dixon is at Croft Park and can tell us how the first half has gone.
Well, it's stalemate up here, Colin. It's Blythe Spartans 0, Tamworth 0. And I suppose the talking point of the first half is what happened on 33 minutes when manager Graham Fenton was sent off. He said something to the linesman. The linesman had a word with the referee, Mr. Sorden. Mr. Sorden went straight over to the dugout, pulled a red card out. The fans don't really know what it was for, but he must have said something. But he's having to now sit in the stand and watch the game. Blythe have played really well the first half and defended well against the Tamworth team, who are top of the league, and they look at top of the league team as well. 20 minutes, Blythe were a bit unlucky when Rhys Evans had a shot was blocked after real good work down the left-hand side by J.J. O'Donnell. And then on 30 minutes, Will McGowan curled a shot on goal. Goalkeeper saved well. The goalkeeper for Blythe hasn't really been tested as yet, but you can see Tamworth are a good team, lots of possession. Blythe will do well, I think, to hold on the second half. But at half-time, Blythe 0, Tamworth 0.
Well, thank you. Fingers crossed they do hold on. It's also goalless at Mariners Park. South Shields against Kings Lynn in National League North. In the NPL Premier Division, though, Morpeth 2-0 up on Macclesfield. Michael Turner and Fenton John with those goals. In the NPL East Division, just one game involving our team survived the weather. A Dale Pearson penalty in the stroke of half-time has given Dunstan a 1-0 lead away at Stockton, and Berwick Rangers are drawing 0-0 at Albion Rovers. We'll go through all our non-league results at around 10 to 6.
New Late Nights with Becky Want.
This is a first for me.
And Joe Good.
I like doing late nights because all the creatures of the night come out.
No secrets. You've got to be open. I think you've got to give of yourself when you're on air. You've got to be authentic. So yeah, my poor husband gets brought up all the time. My beautiful boy has grown up with being featured on my radio programme. So yeah, that won't change.
I talk about my dog. In fact, we are going to do a feature called Barking at the Moon, which will feature many dogs. So I am really excited about this.
Late Night Becky, Sunday to Thursday. Late Night Joe, Friday and Saturdays.
And here on BBC Radio at Newcastle, at half-time at St James's Park, Newcastle United lead Crystal Palace by 3-0. A couple late on in that first half.
I'm here.
Murphy had scored after just 4 minutes. Anthony Gordon made it 2-0 after 44 minutes, and then in the second minute,
any league or just hours?
Time, Sean Longstaff making it Newcastle United 3.
Yeah, Leeds.
In the Championship.
I just thought they'd be putting up a bit more of a fight in this division.
So in the opening 10 minutes, so Jack Clark's equaliser.
Yeah, I would say Norwich 2-0 up against Leeds.
Stoke the lead. After
nothing really else really stands out, to be honest with you. Middlesbrough 0, Birmingham 0.
Bournemouth are leading
Swansea, Leicester, perhaps. Swansea are a good side. That was a difficult place to go, but no, I'm going to go with the Norwich.
Forest and Luton elsewhere in the Championship. If you're just joining us, Blackburn Cardiff is goalless. Bristol City are 1-0 up on Coventry. Huddersfield 2-1 up on Queen's Park Rangers. Hull City 1, Southampton 1, Middlesbrough 0. Birmingham City 0, at Norwich 2 up on Leeds United at half-time, at Leicester City drawing 1-1 away at Swansea City, and Watford against Sheffield Wednesday and West Bromwich Albion against Plymouth Argyle are both goalless. Now, in the last, well, really just in the last minute or so, we have had some sad news. And it's just been announced by the family of Sir Bobby Charlton, the 1966 England World Cup winner from Ashington in Northumberland. He has passed away at the age of 86. He was diagnosed with dementia just under 3 years ago. A family statement saying it is with great sadness that we share the news that he passed peacefully in the early hours of this morning. surrounded by his family. They also say they would like to pass on their thanks to everyone who has contributed to his care and for the many people who have loved and supported him. They also request now that the family's privacy be respected at this time. There's also a Manchester United statement which I will read in just a moment. But first of all, here is Andy Swiss looking back on Sir Bobby Charlton's life.
Now it's Charlton, Bobby Charlton, hand on the right. Maybe a shot from Charlton. It's worth trying.
He was the man who turned scoring goals into a way of life.
Charlton trying to get the shot, it is on his right foot. Oh, beauty! To give Bobby that kind of space on his right foot is asking for trouble.
49 for England, 249 for Manchester United. Sir Bobby Charlton's record stood for decades, the legacy of one of football's most remarkable careers. Born in Northumberland, Charlton's talent was clear from an early age. He represented England's schoolboys, and in 1954 he joined the club which would become his life, Manchester United.
And Charlton scores a beauty, they've equalised.
One of Sir Matt Busby's famous Busby babes. But then came tragedy, the Munich air crash of 1958, in which 23 people, including 8 United players, died. Charlton suffered only minor injuries.
I'd like to say a few words to my mother. I hope she's okay.
Yes.
And taking it well.
But it was an experience which shaped his life.
I was just lucky. I've always been lucky. It's unbelievable, really, that something like that should happen and all your pals get killed and suddenly you're there with hardly a scratch on you. Sometimes I feel it doesn't seem right, you know. But they were lovely lads, all of them, and good players, and the memory of them will always be at Manchester United.
Slowly, United rebuilt their team, with Charlton its cornerstone.
The return centre was a beauty. Charlton headed it home.
And in 1968, it was his 2 goals against Benfica which guided them to their ultimate prize, the European Cup.
Manchester United had well and truly done it. They were supreme soccer champions of Europe. How they cheered as Bobby Charlton led his men up to receive the handsome outsized trophy.
A decade on from the horror of Munich, Charlton lifted the cup. Rarely has victory.
I don't know, I just think it's a very cruel, harsh league. I mean, we all wish to get there just to get stuffed and battered every single week. You've got a literally massive splash
in 1966
to justify, which is just knackered. So. I mean, look at Burnley, the way they walked the league last season.
Portugal in the semi-final proved crucial.
Superb football, and miles behind. It's crazy.
And the triumph which followed earned him a place in the country's sporting folklore. Indeed, for a decade, he was a mainstay of the side. In 1970, he clocked up his 100th international cap against Northern Ireland. And inevitably, he marked the occasion in style. Gradually, though, time was catching up with him. In 1973, he played his final match for Manchester United and briefly went into management with Preston North End. But life in the dugout was not for him. Instead, he returned to Old Trafford, this time as a director, where he oversaw the club's decades of success under Sir Alex Ferguson. But he did far more than just that. He also helped charities and sporting projects, including London's successful bid for the Olympics, using his status as a footballing legend. It was a status which earned him a knighthood and many other accolades. In 2008, his brother Jack, with whom he'd had an often strained relationship, presented him with a BBC Lifetime Achievement Award.
I was fortunate enough to be good at the game. I found football was easy. I could never understand it when people couldn't play this game of football. But I hope one day that I would play for a Football League club, which I did, that I would one day maybe play for England. And I've achieved almost everything that I set out to do. But along the way, I had to do it with a lot of really, really good friends.
It was a typically generous sentiment from a man known for his integrity as well as his remarkable talent. One of the most celebrated and most prolific players that football has ever seen.
They just don't come any better than that.
Andy Swiss there on the line for Sir Bobby Charlton.
Is that what the minute silence was before the game then?
England, who has died at the age of 86. Manchester United have also said that his unparalleled record of achievement, character and service will be forever etched into the history of this club and English football. We will talk more about Sir Bobby Charlton after 5 o'clock. For now, though, it is time to head back to our respective commentary teams. So Newcastle United are 3-0 up on Crystal Palace. Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson are on our FM frequencies. Sunderland drawing 1-0 at Stoke City, and on DAB and Freeview you can listen to Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Well, welcome back to Stoke City. Very, very sad news about Bobby Charlton passing this afternoon, and I'm sure the tributes will be wide across the world, I suspect. And we'll remember when Jack Charlton died and his funeral in Ashington, and no doubt we will see similar scenes in the coming weeks. So, yeah, very, very sad news, Benno.
Very sad news indeed, Nick. You know, what a player and what a man. You know, you just look back and obviously how much he's contributed to football.
Indeed, and as Colin White said, more, no doubt, later on, following the games here and at Newcastle.
It's just it's the cycle of life, isn't it?
Second half kicks off. Stoke City getting us underway, defending the goal to our right in front of the Sunderland fans, the 2,500 plus Sunderland fans here this afternoon. Sunderland in their day glow, yellow third kit as Huggins hooks one away from Vidigal. No changes to either team at the break. For
I remember the 37 FA Cup final.
To Pearson.
They didn't have a manager then either.
Wide to Hoover on the right of the penalty area, blocked by Clark, which leads to another Stoke corner, the first of the second half, their fifth of the game. And
yeah, Rusty Mackham, you're right, mate.
To my colleague from BBC Radio Stoke after.
Oh well, he'll be able to have
a
chat with his brother Jack now
Stoke
upstairs,
goal.
won't
It
he?
did come off the bicep of Ryan Mai, but it stood, and it's 1-1. And here's the corner from Johnson on the right-hand side at the Boothen end, and McNally scores. The start of the second half, McNally gets up and heads Stoke City back into the lead from 6 yards. Luke McNally.
Three-header, Nick. Nobody challenged him.
No.
Nobody's marking him.
Honest to God, like.
He rose towards the back post.
You know, they're looking around. Three-header.
It was, and it was a simple headed ball into the bottom corner for McNally to restore.
Had that actually even come out the tunnels second half?
Lead right at the start of the second half. Only in the second minute of the second half, Stoke City take the lead. Stoke City 2, Sunderland 1, and Sunderland have to come from behind again.
The thing is, Nick, you know, the player who's picking him up is Huggins. You know, he's so many inches taller than
him, yeah, twice as high. And, you know, he is so much smaller. Luke McNally, 6 foot plus, didn't really even have to lift himself off the ground that much to nod that home. But it's 2-1 to Stoke. Plenty of time for Sunderland to get back in the game, of course, but they can't afford another slip-up. As Johnson tries to head it through the centre, drops for Vidigal. Vidigal in the red and white stripes, white shorts, white socks of Stoke. Forwards down the right here to Mai. And Mai trying to get it through to Vidigal, who turns on this, brings it down, trying to get it on his right. O'Neill makes a block, but it doesn't come off. And it's blocked again, the attempt by Leris for another Stoke corner.
You know, you're thinking where the next goal is going to come from, and it looks like it's going to come from Stoke. You know, we haven't started. We talked about it about the first 45 minutes, that we were sloppy. You know, you thought they would have come out in the second half, but no. And if we don't react, you know, we can see us conceding the third goal.
So this sixth.
No, look at
corner.
Huggins. Who's Huggins picking up?
Huggins is on with McNally again, and there's some pushing, and the referee's going to stride in here and sort this out.
A lot of teams, Jacob.
A message from Jeff from Jarrow, who said he was enjoying our 1000th outing. I don't look a day over 999, he says. Until I guess he was sent that message before McNally headed that one in, and I'd aged considerably since he sent the message. 2-1 to Stoke City. Thank you, Jeff from Jarrow. Here's Johnson then with a corner from the right again, swings this one in. McNally's looking for it. He does try and get on the end of it, but Ballard's with him this time to head it clear. And it's a race to the halfway line for Clark, but he's beaten to it by Hoover. Back to Travis, and back it comes to O'Neill. Oh. And the ball given away to Berger. And now to Johnson on the right-hand side. And back to Pearson. Back out to Johnson, tries to cross, blocked by Hume. Berger wins it in the middle, back to McNally.
What's missing, lads? What do you think's missing today? Rose, what do you think it is?
And out to Ender Stevens on this left-hand side, inside to Vidigal. Trying to weave his way back inside for Berger. And Berger, oh, he miskicks it completely. And Barr, he pulls down. Barr tried to pick up the loose ball. Yellow card for Berger. And Berger all over Barr, pulled him down. So now in the 50th minute, Sunderland have not had an opportunity to get into this second half at all. Huggins takes the free kick, back to Ballard, back to Patterson, out to O'Neill. O'Neill out wide again to Hume, who's playing on the left. Pritchard, tackled by McNally.
Sorry, Nick, the swap. Roberts is playing wide right now.
Roberts and Barr's in the middle, yes. Yeah. Here's Clark.
We've not been at the races today,
like. And he's trying to get at the races today. He can't, gets it out to Hume. His forward ball blocked by Hoover. One back though by Clark. Clark now making a run down the left, a step over. He rolls it into the penalty area, but straight to the feet of McNally, who hooks it away from Pritchard into the stand on the far side for a throw to Sunderland. Hume will take the throw. About halfway inside the Stoke City half, drops to Pritchard, back, well, he tried to get it back to Hume, but it was intercepted, and Leris plays a sort of up and under, and now under pressure is Huggins. He puts it in the air, and Ballard's under pressure from Johnson, but turns, brings it away out to the right of the penalty area and out to Huggins, and Huggins back to Ballard and back to Patterson, and he passes it out to Ekwa. Ekwa trying to get away through the middle, out to the left now to Hume. Hume into the Stoke half. 2-1 to Stoke City. BBC Radio Newcastle. Here's Hume again at the corner of the penalty area. Back heel to Clark. Clark in the penalty area, but there's too many Stoke players around him. Then he goes down, and Graham Scott, the referee, emphatically waves away any claim for a penalty. 25,512 is the attendance today, and 2,590.
Is there a striker on now? No, there's not.
From Sunderland. But now Pritchard is fouled. There's a reaction from Ben Pearson to the referee.
Well, the excitement of sign and rush and get in, and the time it took to get him, and he's not getting he's not getting a look in, is he?
Reaction in that game would have produced a yellow card, wouldn't it? But not from Graham Scott. He's still pleading his case, Pearson, but finally steps back away from the free kick. There's one in the...
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get a yellow card for that.
But it wasn't great. Crashed into the wall. Pritchard and Roberts over the ball again. Now... all the Stoke players line up at the edge of the penalty area, interspersed with the yellow shirts of the Sunderland.
I think we missed Roscoe, or certainly an out-and-out striker, says Ian Walker.
And just get back in the game quickly. It's played to Ekwa, who shoots, and it's caught, parried down by Travers, the goalkeeper.
It's on target, but comfortable save.
Yeah, straight at him, really. Tried something different, didn't quite come off. Still 2-1 to Stoke City, 54th minute.
And again, you know, they tried something different because they couldn't really put it in the box, Gus.
They haven't got the height.
Exactly.
Here's Johnson. Across comes Ballard out to the touchline. He's tripped by Johnson, who's already been booked. But it's a free kick to Sunderland, which Huggins takes back to Ballard. Back to Ekwa. Ekwa taking it into the centre of his half, forwards to Job, back to O'Nien. Out wide to Hume, looking for the run of Pritchard, but intercepted by the head of McNally, who gets it down to Leris, Hoover behind him, Pearson. As they pass it between them up to Johnson now, but O'Nien gets in front of Johnson, gets the ball off him, then loses it to Leris. Mai coming forward to the edge of the area here, tries a shot blocked by Ballard, and Ballard passes it out to Job. And he's lost it now to Berger at the corner of the penalty area. And they're making their own problems here, Sunderland. Back to Pearson, down the right to Hoover. Hoover to the goal line, drives this back, and O'Nien brings it down, and Hume hooks it clear. Out to Pearson though, and now Johnson. Pearson again for Stoke City. Looking for Hoover down the right here, drives the ball off the back of Hume. It falls to Johnson though. Johnson tries to slip it in, it comes back out to him, and now Johnson again on his left, blocked by Ballard, and then Huggins hooks it away as Vidigal.
If anything else, Stoke look the more favourites to think and get another goal.
Through for Pritchard to chase, but McNally will get there first, and he plays it back to Travers, the goalkeeper.
I just think we need to make a change, Nick, because if not, I can see these scoring a third goal.
There's a foul on Vidigal. So a free kick to Stoke City. Rose at the back here is going to take this back. It goes to McNally. And certainly the Stoke fans behind their side this afternoon. But
he is on the bench, yeah. Oh well, lads, sort yourself out.
Travers all in blue with a kick up towards Mai. It comes back to McNally.
Nottingham 1, Luton 0.
He sweeps it up forwards again. It's headed away by
Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1.
On by Joe, but McNally's there again. Puts it out for a throw to Sunderland on the far side. Bradley Dack is going to warm up, as is Burstow. He might get a double, might even get a treble change from Sunderland. Ballard out to Ekwa. Ekwa to O'Nien. O'Nien through to.
Well, let's not forget they shouldn't. Stoke City should not have had that goal, that first goal for the start.
Through the middle. He's done well to spin away from two Stoke players. Finds Pritchard, gets it out to Clark on the left. He's going to come in past Hoover. Clark back to Pritchard. Oh, it's rolled back to Job. Job now onto his left foot, but over. Sails into the Sunderland fans behind the goal. Goal kick to Stoke City.
And you look at that opportunity there, and it looks as though he weren't comfortable. It seems as though we were rushed to get that shot away. Good test. Good
big test.
Yeah.
Big test of character. 2-1 down at the moment, Sunderland. Here's the goal kick to come from Mark Travers. 3 caps for Ireland. The Loney from Bournemouth, straight onto the head of Ballard, onto the head of Berger, and it comes back off the chest of Ballard, but it rolls to Huggins. He gets it to Job, and Job now out wide on the left-hand side to Clark. Head down, trying to make a run down the left. He has to come back, needs support. Behind him is Hume, into Ekwa in the middle, just inside the Stoke City half, looking for the run of Clark, but easily headed away by Hoover. And there you can hear the Sunderland fans in hearty voice, despite trailing at the moment, away to our right. And then Pearson.
I tell you what, he's got to be.
That'd be a bad result if we lose today. Like Stoke have been terrible.
By the way, that's a yellow card.
He's run away from the referee with his thumb up to try and mitigate what he'd just done. O'Nien clutching his knee is down on the halfway line on the far side. The referee's going to come back for a word with Ben Pearson, and he is going to book him. It is a yellow card.
Don't do well against Stoke.
I can't believe he was thinking about it.
Yeah. Just over half an hour to play. Stoke leading 2-1. Daniel Johnson's having a word with the referee now, the Stoke skipper, I think he is this afternoon. Free kick taken by O'Nien, who's back up on his feet, looking for Roberts, but headed over him out by Ender Stevens. A throw to Sunderland on the right, 10 yards from the corner. That Ender Stevens is the captain. And Huggins, another throw, 20 yards from the corner.
Movement.
Wants someone
movement
to create some space. He's not sure what to do with it at the moment. He's now looking for Barr. Barr down the right, almost the goal line, but Stevens gets in front of him.
Still get a man sent off, we equalise. That'll be good, Colin.
For a goal kick to Stoke City. A reminder, we'll be live at Leicester City on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Live on BBC Radio.
Well, we need to book our ideas up for Leicester City on Tuesday if this carries on today.
Tuesday night?
Not so sure. Leicester, I think, is a different proposition altogether, isn't it? Completely different ball game, if you like, in terms of quality. This is a big team, aren't they, Stoke? I mean, they've got a lot of height. We've talked about that in the game. Burstow's warming up with Dak. Rusin's warming up as well. As the ball comes up through to Mai, but one back by Ekwa, out to Clark, to Job, who's trying to find Pritchard. Pritchard brings it down wide on the left, looking for the run of Clark. He's found him on the left wing. Hoover's gone with him, but Clark's taking him on, slips away and has got him all over the place, then shoots, but straight at the goalkeeper. Hoover didn't know whether to go left, right, forwards, but Stoke bring it out here on the left-hand side with Ender Stevens, inside to Mai, back behind him Johnson. Joe gets in the way of him, Johnson pulls him back. It's a free kick to Sunderland. Ballard pushing Mai off the ball, Vidigal trying to get involved, Luke O'Nien tries to smash the ball away for the free kick, now is pointedly having a word with the referee. The referee's going to have a word with Luke O'Nien. I think he's just trying to
something missing today, like something massively missing.
O'Nien shaking his head. Graham Scott. As Luke O'Nien shakes his head, pleading whatever it is he's got to plead. The referee walked away, stopped them, had a quick word and runs back away into the Stoke half. Ballard will take the
weak shot
free
though.
kick to Sunderland.
Got nowhere to hit.
Ekwa does in the end.
Got to play your way out. There's no target man.
To O'Nien. Out wide to Hume. On halfway on the left. Then back to Job in the Sunderland half. Back to Ballard. There's going to be a change for Sunderland.
Yeah, it'd be a couple of
they're
changes.
going to bring Burstow. Is it Burstow on?
Yeah.
The ball comes back here to Ballard. And yeah, Burstow's coming on, Dak's coming on.
Make sure.
And now it's another near mix-up as they try to get the ball clear. O'Nien gets it out though eventually to Job. Back to O'Nien. He's conscious Mize on his shoulder. O'Nien takes it into the 6-yard box. Passes out to Huggins on the right here. And Huggins now, Vidigal on his shoulder. Huggins back to Ekwa. Berger in front of him. And Rusin's going to come on as well. I think there's going to be a triple substitution by Sunderland. Burstow, Dak and Rusin are all coming on by the looks of things. As the ball kicked clear by Travers. Stoke City leading 2-1. Barr thought he was fouled, pulled down by McNally. The referee doesn't think so. The ball comes back through to Travers, out to Rose, back to Travers. Kick upfield. Ballard's all over Mai. It's pulled down by Mai though for Johnson. Johnson to Mai. Mai spins and turns away from Roberts. Gets the ball to Stevens. Down the left here now. Trying to find Vidigal. Gets round Huggins. Huggins trying to get back. Vidigal gets it on his right foot to cross. Oh, and a good header away from O'Nien on the shoulder of Leris, who was looking to nod that home. Out it comes to Clark in midfield, but he's dispossessed. Berger has it, slips it through to Mai in the penalty area. Great shot blocked by Hume, drops for Pritchard, but Berger's whipped in there. And Berger, Hoover is caught by Clark. I suspect it might be another card coming out here for Clark this time. As Hoover's upended. Clark gets to his feet. Referees across with a yellow card shown for Clark. That foul on Hoover.
We've got to change it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Stoke can sense the third goal, can't they?
Yeah, the third goal will be a game changer in the sense it'll win the game, I think, for Stoke if they score the third, but if Sunderland can just get back in it. Ready to make the 3 changes down below.
Who do you think will come off? Barr? Pritchard,
and possibly, would you take Roberts off? Equa?
Maybe.
It's quite you're bringing on 3 attackers basically for, we've got the free kick to defend here, and Vidigal's header glances wide. It's a goal kick. And the changes will be made now. 3 changes. As the 3 players, the 3 amigos, step to the side of the pitch. And the first is Roberts, who comes off for Rusin. The second is Barr for Burstow. And the third will be...
It's got to be Pritchard, hasn't it?
I think that Pritchard, yeah, for Dak, yeah. So Barr, Pritchard and Roberts make way for Burstow, Dak and Rusin. Barr flings his glove into the dugout, not happy at all. Abdullah Barr. Pritchard comes off, shakes the manager's, head coach's hand, and Michael Proctor gives him a pat on the back. 2-1 Stoke lead, still plenty of time, 25 minutes. Ball back with Patterson. He's got the ball with the 2 centre-backs either side of him. He passes it to Luke O'Nien. Luke O'Nien out wide again to Hume, back to O'Nien.